All the crap you can unwrap. All the slime all the time.
I can't get over with that Huey today. He's got a lot of noise to talk about me that way. I don't give a crap what that Ferry has to say. If he wants to smoke pink cigars, then let him. Why, I'll have you know, I know what I'm talking about. Every morning at the condo, I take the elevator down, and on my way to the car, when I pull my folding basket out, I grab a free condo paper. The toys are back in town.
Toys are back in town.
Toys. The toys are back in town.
The toys are back in
I said the toys are back in town. Why, you little... I'm the god of all you sport old fools. I know everything that's going on in the news. Why, I even know all the new Mahjong rules. I'm hip to the jive, Daddy-O.
Too bad they're going down tonight. It's a better show when I take your place. I know I ain't no Ed Toilet, but when they drop, my voice will change.
You little smoothie.
$10:02 at 560 WQAM. Happy Thursday, August 24. Man, this month is just flying by. It's almost over.
Good.
And, you know that rumor that you were talking about on Tuesday?
Yes, Josh's rumor.
About that place across the street?
Tire Kingdom.
Well, you know, it just dawned on me that, well, I mean, it didn't just dawn on me, but it just keeps bugging me, the fact that that rumor was started by people inside that place, that establishment over there. So the fact that they got to clean up their own house before they start giving us a song and a dance. Your people got loose lips, baby. Loose lips. And there's nothing worse than a loose lip.
I had a line for that, but
I know, me too.
Going.
That's what I was thinking about. That's what I was chuckling about. Just keep it to yourself, okay? Mm-hmm. Stuff it. Bag it. Brown bag it. Here's probably the most important story. Forget about wars. Forget about John Carr. Here's the most important story that I've come across in ages. Jeanette, Pennsylvania. And the first word is just one word. It says, meow. Okay. A district judge has been asked to decide whether meow is a harmless taunt or grounds for misdemeanor harassment. Jeanette police, that's Jeanette, Pennsylvania, charged a 14-year-old boy for meowing whenever he sees his neighbor, 78-year-old Alexandra Caracia. Or is that Caracia? The boy's family and Caracia did not get along. The boy's mother said the family got rid of their cat after Caracia complained to police that it used her flower garden as a litter box. The boy testified this week that he only meowed at the woman twice. Caracia testified every time he sees me, he meows. The boy's defense attorney, David Martin, Jr., argued that the charge should be dismissed. I wonder if he's kin to Ray Fisher, Jr. Oh. This should never have been filed, Martin said. This is not something that police should be wasting their time where they're wasting the court's time. Jeanette, District Judge Joseph D. Marchis decided to wait 90 days before ruling. Well, he's going to give a lot of thought to this. He said his decision will be based on the boy and his neighbor, how they get along in the meantime. Whether they can patch up their meow. Yeah, exactly. There you go. Don't do it. You're going to wind up in court, on the People's Court. Oh, there's Tropical Storm Debbie. Let's call Debbie and see how that storm's coming.
This is Debbie.
I love it.
I didn't know you had her number.
About every time I see. Well, that thing is going way a ways. Tropical Storm Debbie. It ain't no thing, okay? Here's a story that should be a thing, but of course the public are used to people being butchered up because that's just the way the world is. You know, it's a violent, horrible, unjust place. 2 U.S. soldiers. In fact, before I even do this, let me give the one quote because I don't want to talk too much about those two videos that I watched with Noam Chomsky.
Okay.
I'm serious. Because most of the people in the audience would know Noam Chomsky from Noah and the Ark, or Noah's Ark hardware store. But anyway, he had a great line, and it's true. He has a lot of great lines. In fact, George is doing a few of them right now. But the line was, one of the best ways to stop terrorism is to stop participating in it, which I thought he was...
Absolutely correct,
And then, of course, he
Handle
goes
that.
on and documents all of the grotesque, horrendous things. But you saw that movie, Why We Fight. So
Sure.
and then you'll see the trials of Henry Kissinger, which arrived yesterday, I guess.
Right.
And when you see that and you put 2 and 4 together, then it'll all paint and ugly. Speaking of 2 U.S. soldiers were killed south of Baghdad today, while a series of attacks across the country left at least 11 Iraqis dead and several more wounded. 1 more U.S. soldier was killed yesterday during a raid to capture foreign terrorists. It's the war on terror, like the war on honesty, the war on integrity, the war on anything. How can you have a war on an idea?
Just watch.
Or on a plan.
By dropping lots of bombs all over the place.
war on evil.
Yeah.
The war on a concept. Man, you got to hand it to Karl Rove and these lunatics, man. They sure peddle some real heavy-duty crap. And the public just loves it, man. They lap it up. Got some bad news, celebrity death. Rock drummer Bruce Gary. Or is he? I wonder if that's Boy Gary. Wouldn't that be a shame if he croaked? I bet you Hank would do a Kazatsky right there for you, right in the parking lot. He'd invite everybody in town to come. He'd go there to PP Park right up the street.
This might be his drumming right here.
Is that Boy Gary?
Yeah.
That's a medley of their smash, although if you let me do the article, come to find out, rock drummer Bruce Gary, who worked with George Harrison, Bob Dylan, and Stephen Stills, but is best known as the Knack's original drummer on My Sharona, has died. He was 54. 54. Gary died Tuesday at Tarzana Medical Center, said Guy McCain, publicist for the Knack's lead singer Doug Feiger. Cause of death wasn't disclosed. He was an integral part of our sound, not to mention a great drummer, Feiger said in a statement. In addition to the Knack, Gary's 3-decade career as a drummer and producer included work with a who's who of performers. Besides Harrison, Dylan, and Stills, he recorded with Cream's Jack Bruce, Rod Stewart, Sheryl Crow, Bette Midler, Yoko Ono, Harry Nilsson, and the Doors guitarist Robbie Krieger, according to the website. Gary also worked with blues master Albert Collins, Albert King, and John Lee Hooker, and toured with former Eagles member Randy Meisner and Spencer Davis. He also co-produced a series of posthumous releases from Jimi Hendrix, including the Blues compilation. He also produced a CD of drum samples, Bruce Gary's drum vocabulary. The drum loops are popular in professional home recording studios where they can be added to any song. They're even more popular than Fruit Loops. On August 3rd, that's the story we were talking about. Feiger underwent successful brain surgery. He had 2 brain tumors removed during operations at Cedars-Sinai Medical Center. He's now recovering at home. He's just fine.
Oh, we're fine.
The Knack was formed in 1978, and a year later it hit it big with My Sharona. The group's debut album, Get the Knack, sold 6 million copies. That is scary. Followed by a second album, But the Little Girls Understand. I think John Carr liked that one, Little Girls Understand, which sold 2 million. That is amazing. All these people with too much discretionary cash, if you ask me. Isn't that the problem with that? Why else would they be buying the Knack?
Hey, Get the Knack.
Maybe they were good.
Well,
were they good?
They had 2 good songs.
What was the other one?
Good Girls Don't. We have a bit based on that.
Do we have that?
It's called Girls Don't Fart is our bit.
Oh, yeah, I know. Oh, we can't play that.
I don't think there are any fart sounds in it.
There aren't. There are no fart sounds, Joyce. Bitch. And Joyce, stop starting rumors about that business.
Well, we were out on our first date.
Yeah, I think there might be. I'm not really sure, and I really don't care. Anyway, here's George's poll from yesterday. What makes the least sense? 867 votes on this poll. What makes the least sense? Can't you just see Noam Chomsky speaking at FIU?
Noam.
Or at the University of Miami? Professor Noam Chomsky will be speaking this evening at the University of Miami at the athletic department. Oh, yeah. What makes the least sense? Braille on the drive-thru at the ATM 213. Well, let me ask you something. Suppose you were driving a blind person through, right?
Yeah.
And they had to withdraw something.
Yeah, what are they going to do, reach over your lap? You're going to pull through there backwards?
No, actually what you do is you ask them for the PIN.
Oh, yeah, what a good
Get
idea.
their credit card, ask for the PIN, then you haul ass.
Hey, Blind Mike.
213 people said the Braille on the drive-thru at the ATM. Now, do they actually have Braille on the ATM at the drive-thru?
Yes, they do.
Get out of here. For what?
I Joyce you not. Well, that's the point now, isn't it?
Yeah, that's true. Stupid things. Stupid people do stupid things.
They're all made in a factory.
Bombing for peace, 185. You're wrong about that, mister. I'm going to tell you right now. We're going to bomb their ass into democracy whether they like it or not, whether they want it or not. We're going to bomb and bomb until we can't bomb no more. By the way, Israeli helicopters, that's like an oxymoron because Israel doesn't make any helicopters. They're all made in America. Bush administration's foreign policy 182. And I shouldn't have said that because on our survey today, our survey says, which is not really a poll, it's a survey, Middle East, we already got somebody listening in the Middle East. I sure hope it ain't no crazy Israeli. Let's see, where are we? Maybe it's one of them schmata heads in Saudi Arabia, do you think?
Could be.
Well, that's,
maybe
we're going to get your ass next. I'm telling you that right now, okay, you Saudis. Don't get smug and fat, okay, because we're going to come and get your ass next. Remember last time Prince Abdullah came here? And the Bushmeister told him, get lost. Coxahoist. Tattoos on dark-skinned people, 67. You know, A&E, man, what a sad situation that is. They've got, not only they got inked, but they got that other guy. What's his name, the illusionist?
Which
Come
one?
on.
Chris
Angel.
Angel, there
Chris Angel, yeah. He's on for like 75 hours on Wednesday night. He was on last night. Not that I watched it, but I saw it on the guide.
I hadn't noticed.
This is the same network that gives you like investigative reports and biography shows, and they give you like Dog the Bounty Hunter, inked with a bunch of grotesque tattooed, and now Chris, whatever his name is,
Engel,
Joe Angel. Non-alcoholic beer is 60. Yeah, what's the point? What is the point of that?
For the taste.
Yeah. That's why people drink beer, for the taste, right? The Electoral College, 54. Oh, that's for damn sure. That should have been right up there on the top.
It was a late addition.
The Golden Glades Flyover, 33. Softcore porn has got...
About 30, man.
Marriage, 29. And a one-topic radio station, 14.
And that's what I voted for.
Thanks to this show, we don't have that.
Right.
Although across the street they got that. It's all sports over there at the Jiffy Lube.
Yes.
Isn't that what it is?
The Tire Kingdom.
Don't start those rumors, all you people inside Stu Gotts and all the other... I think it was probably Zach Krantz in his pants. He's probably the one who would have been talking to the big...
Oh!
Wouldn't you think? I'm trying to figure out who it is, who the mole is over there. Send Greg Reed over there. He was always looking for the mole. Come to find out it was right there on his...
Rectum.
But nevertheless, big, gigantic, ugly one. We'll get to today's survey. It's not a poll today, it's just a survey. And I think we might get 1,000 people check in before the 2 o'clock. We got 765 already. Piece of cake, baby. Piece of cake like rolling off a log.
Cake.
Like Geldy squeaking his way to 10 o'clock.
This is Neil Rogers. This is 560 QAM.
Who's going to give Ricky a blow?
Contestant number 1, what is your name, please?
My name is John Mark Carr, and I killed John Benet Ramsey.
Contestant number 2. My name is John Mark Carr, and I killed John Benet Ramsey. Contestant number 3.
My name is John Mark Carr, and I killed John Benet Ramsey.
One of these men killed John Benet Ramsey. The other 2 are imposters. Find out who the real John Mark Carr is once we all play To Play the Truth. Now here's your host, Carl Rose.
I welcome our distinguished panel, Larry King, Rita Crosby, and Mr. Dick Clark. And now, as head of your Ministry of Truth, let's begin to play with the truth. Miss Crosby.
Yes. Yes.
Mr. King.
Contestant number 2. That was 10 years ago, was it not?
Yes.
Did you then, or do you now, have change for a 20?
Yes, I do. Here.
2 5 and 10 is good. Thank you. Good.
Mr. Dick Clark. And now, will the real killer of John Benet Ramsey please stand up?
Oh, we're sorry, ladies and gentlemen. We have another terrorist warning. Remove your shirts and pants. And stay tuned for more theater as we play the truth.
Loan me $50.
1019 at 560 WQAM. Let's see that lineup for today. And, of course, today and tomorrow. This is just the wind down of Greg Reed's nightmare, of his living nightmare they left, the legacy that he left in our behind, man. Because starting next Monday, August the 28th, it's going to be a brand new deal, baby.
Oh!
Aren't you excited?
I am thrilled like you don't even know.
And now that I officially gave up plunging my guts out of Woodbine as of yesterday, I finally got the last, oh, brother, no more for this kid ever again. Fool, don't get started, Josh. Don't let the beast talk into them slot machines, man, them one-armed bandits.
I know you'll be back there in like a
total
couple
waste
weeks.
of time. I will not be back. I will not be participating
I've heard it before.
in such schweinerei. But at any rate, next Monday, October 28th, what is it, August, December, whatever it is, and we got Kenny and Bo in the morning, the Kenny and Bo show. No more Crow and no more Mo, but we got Kenny and Bo. What do you know? And, of course, that's what we're told by Joe
right.
Mama. And what's that going to be all about? What are they going to be doing in the morning? I asked George this before. He said it's going to be an amusing sports show. And I said,
that's what we're told.
Oh, yeah. Well, what's it going to be? Do we
I
know?
told you. You thought I was kidding?
Oh, don't tell me it's going to be another sports show.
Of course.
I thought Kenny Walker was from Y100. Kenny and Footy didn't. I never heard Kenny on the air, I don't think. But they didn't do a sports show.
I'm going to bring
they did
people
an
in here to do a
entertainment
non-sports show.
Nobody wants to hear another stupid-ass sports show for
Oh,
Christ's
that's where
sake.
you're wrong, mister.
800 votes even. Well, they're not votes. They're like tallies on today's survey. Not a poll today. It's a survey. You know, I was kind of curious about this. I think it's mildly interesting. It may not be like earth-shaking, earth-shattering. Certainly not as interesting as Lionel there on MSNBC.
What I'm saying simply is that...
No, who's that other guy on there? That dark-complected guy. Okay, here's the deal. Where are you usually when you listen to the Neil Rogers Show, either on the air or, of course, on the Internet? It's the most interesting part. Leading the way is... Broward! 246 say they're in Broward when they listen. 178 in Dade. That's almost even Steven.
Mm-hmm.
We're always being brainwashed into believing that the overwhelming majority of our audience is in... Oh, guess what? Now, of course, some of those people in Dade, they may be working Dade, but they live in Broward, like you, for example. Both of you.
Right. Or vice versa, I would imagine.
Meaning what?
That there are people who live in Dade and work in Broward? I mean, it's got to happen.
Oh, no. You think they have a visa to get across the border in the daylight hours?
It's called the Sun Pass.
Broward, 246. Dade, 178. Palm Beach, 113. How do you like that? That is shocking. Florida, outside of those three counties, 102. Outside of the Tri-County area, 102. USA, outside of Florida, 78. In other words, like Wisconsin, Washington, like in Sheboygan, wherever. Massachusetts, Vermont, New York, Pennsylvania, etc. Virginia. I don't listen, 28. Now, you were kind of like chuckled when you saw that this morning.
No, you're right.
The reason I put that on there is that there are people who go to our website who either they don't listen because they can't or they're at work or whatever, but they still peruse our website. They vote on the poll. They read the stories, maybe, all these things.
That is correct.
You know what I'm saying?
All of these things.
So they don't get to listen or they don't want to listen. Maybe they just hate the show.
Or their computer doesn't have speakers hooked up to it. Or
A whole variety of things. So we always like to give people a place to go, and especially with our callers. In fact, I gave the callers a place to go today, and that is back wherever they've got, because I already shut the thing off.
I'll give them directions.
I don't have any time for that cock-a-rye today.
Hi.
Yeah, no way. I don't listen 28. In outer space, 22. And speaking of, you just said it. That's one of them. Out of this world. In outer space.
Chamba?
Oh, yeah. 22 said that. I hate this poll. Only 13. Well, how can you hate it? It's not even a poll. It's a survey. How can... But, not for me to ask. Remember what I said, what Noam Chomsky said.
What'd he say?
The best way to stop terrorism is to stop participating in it. Well, he's so good, it's scary. And you know what's really scary, though?
What's that?
Is he and Gore Vidal are both about 100 years old, and they're going to both be dead pretty soon. And then what? Then what we got left? Besides Geldy.
Nobody listening to either one of them anyway, so...
What do you mean by that?
Well, you're watching the lectures, but I mean, is anybody...
Well, certainly not at the University of Miami. Let's see, I hate this poll 13. Canada, 8, which means me and 7 other Canadian, 8 people listening in Canada. Mexico, 4. How do you like that? See, you're always picking on those poor beaners down there. We got 4 people listening in Mexico, man.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, why are you picking on the beaners? You're just jealous.
Oh, yes.
You're just
That's
jealous.
Right. You know it.
You wish that you had a country where people could go and get kidnapped and never be seen again.
I wish I had square feet and a moon face.
Europe 3. See, you're obsessed with feet. I don't know what it is with you and this. You got a foot fetish. Always talking about feet. Europe 3, Asia 2, the Middle East 1, the Middle East 1.
Oi!
How do you like that? I bet you it's in Saudi Arabia. I bet Prince Abdullah is listening right now. Or maybe Bandar Bush is listening right now. Or maybe Ehud Olmert, one of our appointed terrorists in charge over there in Israel. Maybe he's listening. Middle East 1, Africa 1. Now, you see, I'm not really sure. You better Google it.
Google what?
Excuse
Africa?
me for being so ignorant. Well, listen, I don't feel bad because you're ignorant too about it. I asked you if Saudi Arabia is considered in Asia or Africa. I think it's part of Asia.
I think you might be right.
But I'm not sure because if you look on the map, now certainly Egypt, although, now wait a minute, what about the Middle East?
I don't think it's
See,
a continent.
You should never put the Middle East on there. Middle East is not, what?
It's a region, not a continent. But you've got other areas on there.
Middle East 1, Africa 1, South America 1. How do you like that? We got somebody in South America, probably in Brazil, no doubt. Australia and Central America, we don't have anybody. And, of course, since the U.S. did such a good job of bombing Nicaragua and Panama and destroying most of Central America, those poor schleppers can't, they got no internets. 832 have checked in. We'll have that 1,000 easy by 11:30, wouldn't you say? Or by whatever, by noon.
Sure, whatever.
Just when you thought things were making a little bit of progress. Of course, progress is a dirty word in George Bush's America. Don't forget, SBTC stands for Stupid Bush Terrorizes the Constitution. Or Simpleton Bush Terrorizes the Country. Or all of these
things.
Coushatta, Tennessee. This is in the Shreveport Times. Oh, I'm sorry, not Tennessee. It's in Louisiana. Where did I get Tennessee from? Well, it's the same crap. It just flows downstream. This is in the Shreveport, Louisiana Times. Coushatta. 9 black children attending Red River Elementary School were directed last week to the back of the school bus, by a white driver who designated the front seats for white children. The situation has outraged relatives of the black children who have filed a complaint with school officials. Superintendent Kate Easley will meet with the family members in her office this morning. She's probably meeting right now. The National Association, the NAACP, is also considering filing a formal charge with the U.S. Department of Justice. NAACP District Vice President James Pannell of Shreveport said he would apprise justice attorneys on the situation this week. He's considering asking for an investigation of the bus incident and other aspects of the school system's operations, including pupil-teacher ratio as it relates to the numbers of white and black children, along with a breakdown of the numbers of black and white teachers employed in it. If the smoke is there, then there's probably fire somewhere else, Pennell said in a phone interview from New Orleans. We fought that battle 50 years ago and we won. Why is this happening again? And you know who's rotting in her grave? She just died, as a matter of fact, didn't she? Rosa Parks. I wonder if she was kin to Burt Parks. I always ask that, and nobody ever answered the question yet.
MacArthur Parks.
Oh, is that it? Well, I sure like that. That was always a good way to start your morning show, man, with MacArthur Park, when you had to go and finish with all your bodily functions.
You know
what was it, like 7.5 minutes long, something like that?
Yes, it was.
Either that or Derek and the Dominoes and Layla. How long is that, baby? Did you Google Saudi Arabia?
It's not Asia, nor is it Europe, so I'm finding where it is.
No, I didn't say Europe. I said Africa. It's certainly not Europe. Saudi Arabia and Europe. You better start learning your Middle Eastern schmata-head geography, mister, because you sure as hell don't know it. Europe, my ass. Well, there's those 2 Fox guys. They still got service. Well, that'll teach them to work at Fox, those propagandist bastards. 27 past 10. Do you know that the clip that we got on our website from Keith Olbermann?
Well, the Southern Map has it on Asia.
That's what I told you. Remember what we played it a couple of days or last week?
Yes.
I had you play it?
Yes.
And we put it on our website, the link to it called where is it? The Nexus of Politics and Power. That went over so big that they replayed it on his show 2 nights ago.
Good.
They replayed that whole clip about all the lies, the phony terror alerts. Just keep everybody in a total state of panic. The fear factor. It's not a TV show. It's a political philosophy, baby. It's a strategy, like the war on terror. 28 after 10, Lobsterfest is back every Friday through Sunday at the Emerald Coast. You know, if the world really is coming to an end, if Armageddon's coming soon, you might as well pig out, right? What do you got to lose?
I mean...
All right.
Absolutely.
So head for the Emerald Coast. They're in Sunrise, in Pembroke Pines, and also in beautiful Sunny Isles Beach. You'll find over 100 different items on the menu, so try them all. Start out with some of their 6 gourmet soups or sample all of them. Then go for the juicy, delicious New York steak grilled just to your order the way you love it. There's hand-carved prime rib, a sushi bar, and all the traditional Asian dishes, as well as a salad bar and a bar. So much food there, you won't even know what to dig into next. And their dessert bar is really great during the weeknights, but on the weekends, the 40-inch chocolate fountain at the Emerald Coast will make your mouth water. You'll just be hand-dipping, sticking all kinds of amazing decadent things in there, like strawberries, marshmallows, cheesecake, and other great treats, and loads of milk chocolate for dessert. A perfect ending to a fantastic feast at the Emerald Coast. And don't forget, no MSG headaches when you walk out of this joint, because they don't use any MSG or cornstarch or any crap. They use only the best ingredients, including cholesterol-free canola oil and all the cooking. So if you want a fabulous feast, just go in there. Just go in there when they open the door and just stay there until they kick your whole ass out, and the whole family. Bring the family to the Emerald Coast for a real fantastic treat. 954-572-3822 is the number for reservations. And don't forget, every Friday through Sunday, Lobsterfest is back at the Emerald Coast. 954-572-3822.
This is Neil Rogers. This is 560 QAM.
Cinco de Mayo.
The Mexican national holiday.
Some stations are giving away trips to Cancun. Some are giving away trips to Mexico City. But we're bringing Mexico to you. That's right. We're giving away Mexican.
Real live Mexican. Ay, caramba.
We'll be smuggling illegal aliens across the border in the wheel well of the station van. Then we'll give one to you. Imagine your own personal Mexican.
They'll wash your car, clean your house, pick your crop, anything you want.
Because if they don't, you'll have them deported.
Adios, amigo.
See the 10th color when you hear this sound and win a Mexican.
Members of this station and their families are not eligible to own Mexicans. Bathing and delousing of Mexicans is winner's responsibility. Station assumes no liability for infectious diseases carried by Mexicans.
Celebrate Cinco de Mayo in your own home.
Every day.
With your very own Mexican. People listening to win.
How do you like that? We got Cinco, baby. El Cinco de whatever. de Augusto. 5 Mexicans are listening right now, or at least they listen most of the time when they're wherever they are, in Chihuahua. Why do you have such hatred for the Mexicans?
I don't hate the Mexicans.
Yeah, the hell you don't. Make all these grotesque... You Julios, man, well, can't you get your act together? You remind me of the Jews. It's the same thing. And the Arabs. Same
Julios.
crap. We got the Shiites, and we got the Sunnis, and we got the Kurds, and everybody hates the Kurds. And then we got the Orthodox and the Super Orthodox. What was the Haredi? Remember that story I had about the Haredi one?
Right.
Offering 20,000 shekels to kill some faggot at a gay pride parade? Really nice. Very nice.
Look, I got nothing against the Native Americans at all, including the
There you go, picking on the Indians again, too.
That's what the Mexicans are.
If you ask me, I think you're a...
Indian killer.
Oh, don't play that anymore. If this audience had any idea of all the don'ts, there's that old thing about do's and don'ts. We don't get any do's, we just get don'ts. Don't play this and don't say that and don't play that dropping anymore because it's a... Screw you guys, okay? Screw you. We're sitting here with an 8 share on a radio station that's got like decimal points in front of most of their numbers, and now trying to put change the whole lineup again to try to resuscitate what Greg Reed destroyed. We're sitting here with like gigantic numbers in the middle of a radio cesspool. And I'm going to take instructions from a bitch named Joyce who wouldn't know a radio if you stuck 40 of them up her ass. Screw you, Joyce. Your mama. And not only that, but I hear that there's people going out of business March 1st. Anyway, let's see. Survivor plays the race card. This is the debate they had on there this morning on MSNBC where you always get the MS. Not. From the Oh No They Didn't files, it says, let's see, this story is in the Toronto Star. Oh, well, what do they know? The latest twist in reality television is segregation. All right. See, it's just like that story we had before about the black kids going to the back of the bus. Let's turn the clock back, baby. That's what the Bush crowd wants to do. Turn it back 50 years. Right? Maybe not 50, but at least...
Stop 30, man.
CBS announced details for the upcoming season of Survivor Cook Islands yesterday. But when it premieres September 14, viewers may wonder if they've tumbled through a crack in the space-time continuum. Ooh. Isn't that what Howard Beale was talking about, the space-time continuum when he was before he passed out for the 400th time?
Continually.
He had this great contact with nature and birds and all this other crap. He was so good. What a shame Peter Finch died, That'd be a good poll to take someday. What a shame that Blank died.
Yeah. Mel Blanc?
Soon. Yeah, Mel Blanc died. He did die.
Yes, he did.
See that? Mm-hmm. Just about anybody you mention, they're dead. Just like that drummer from the Knack. We have a knack of talking about dead people on this show. We don't want to hear about any more old dead celebrity. Well, too bad. Then go someplace else, okay? Go turn over to Scare America and listen to their crap. Listen to Al Franken and Catherine Lang.
He's funny. She's not on there anymore.
Oh, isn't she? I can't understand why. She's almost as entertaining as Rita Crosby. Yeah.
I can't.
On
I
the
can't
cover of the National Enquirer.
Oh, no. Well, I better go out and get that today, the Enquirer. Then for Tuesday I'll have that. Speaking of Jackie Mason...
Couldn't get over it that this top man from the whole mafia is following me around. I knew he wasn't trying to kill me, so I figured he must be enjoying my act.
After shows, Mason would join Lansky and his friends at their table.
He loved the power. I could see he loved the power, because when people sat around him with that worshipful look on their faces, you could tell that he knew he was the boss and he acted it. I used to say to him, how much money do you really have? I'm sweating by my life, I'll keep my mouth shut. And he would laugh and change the subject, or give me a hug, or give me a kibitz, and I could never find out anything.
What a shame. That's my vote for the new president of Israel is Jackie Mason. What do you say?
Sure.
I think it's a capital idea. The 20 contestants on Survivor Cook Islands will be divided into 4 tribes. There you go right there. We were talking about this before the show today, about the tribal rivalries and hatreds and killing and all of these things. That's what the world's all about, tribes, along ethnic lines. That's right. After watching Survivor plunge to all-time lows in the ratings and buzz last season, wily Mark Burnett hopes to reignite passions with a good old-fashioned race war. Black tribe, white tribe, Latino tribe, Asian tribe. Survivors ready? Let the social Darwinism begin. Wonder what Ann Coulter would think about that. The eyebrows-raising plan was discussed by 2 Caucasians yesterday on the early show as Survivor host Jeff Probst dodged surprisingly pointed questions. Well, that's probably one of the reasons it'll be interesting and controversial, said Probst. I know from where I sit, I found it and find it to be one of the freshest ideas we've had. It says, fresh, what's next? Marathon tribe versus amputee tribe? Supermodel tribe versus morbidly obese tribe? Myopic tribe versus 2020 tribe? I like that one. Myopic, Europic.
Oh.
Biopic. Smith said some of his colleagues groaned after hearing Survivor was playing the race card. Then he realized the interview was supposed to be a squishy CBS cross-promotion and encouraged Probst to defend the idea. I think at first glance, when you just hear it, it could sound like a stunt, Probe said, but that's not what we're doing here. The idea for this actually came from the criticism that Survivor was not ethnically diverse or perverse enough. It says if Survivor really wants to refute quota-obsessed critics, Probe should just state a simple fact. 80% of all applicants are white. So if you want more diversity on Survivor, get more of these marginal people, these minorities to apply. Right?
And the bottom line is all they need to do is show more flesh. That's what they need, and that's what people want.
That's right. Well, the only good reality show that was ever on was the Am I Hot or Are You Hot or Is It Hot?
Stuff like that.
Yeah, then it was on ABC, and then they yanked it. Well, I'm sure they weren't the only ones. They took it off the air before it had a chance to really do anything. I don't know why, because it was a good show. They didn't pretend to be anything else but a meat market.
I told you why.
That's what Why? Why did they take it off?
Because Lorenzo Lamas used a laser pointer, which ripped off Howard Stern, and he threatened to sue, and therefore they yanked it.
Oh, I'm so glad you mentioned that. Guess who got Howard Stern yesterday?
I give up. Gilbert?
Yeah, let me give you a clue. He's got a white beard, and he's an AIPAC shill. And he's on CNN before Lou Dobbs.
Santa Claus.
That's the one. Wolf Blitzkrieg, baby, got Stern yesterday. I got home just in time. I turned on the TV, and he's doing a breathless thing where they got some broad on the phone who has inside information about John Mark Carr and John Bonet, and she's got info that nobody else has got. And she comes on. She's got some made-up name. And this chick comes on the phone, and Wolf is asking her, well, it's so wonderful having you here in my pedantic way. And let me ask you, what do you know? What can you add to our understanding of John Mark Carr? And she starts going on. She says, well, and she starts really breathless, like it's a legitimate call. She says, well, the real story is that John told me that he was told by Howard Stern to kill John Bonet. Yeah, and at that point, of course, they cut her off, and Wolf went on to tell the audience that we just got, as they say in the business, Howard Stern, and we apologize very much to the audience for getting sucked into that phony, but we thank you very much for your call anyway. He actually said that. It reminded me of Mike Siegel talking about pedantic and Jewish. Just ridiculous. He actually said that. Thank you very much for your crank call. On CNN, worldwide, Wolf Blitzkrieg gets Stern. Nice call. See, this is one of those situations where I appreciate that Stern had somebody call in and at least break up the monotony a little bit of the John Mark Carr crap. That's the time you Stern somebody. Not when there's like buildings falling down and thousands of people dying. That's probably not the most opportune or intelligent time to be calling in, doing a Stern routine. You idiots. You fools you.
Don't have a sense of humor.
That must be it. I'm just an old fuddy-duddy.
That's right.
That's right.
Wet
Wallflower. Wallflower or some other flower like pansy. 1042 at 560 WQM. Let me tell you right now, man, there's a lot of schmutz in your carpeting. Even if you don't, even the Arabs know that there's schmutz in the carpet. That's why they make sure that they're clean all the time before they get down on their hands and knees. You know what I'm saying?
What are you saying?
If you want to get down and pray, you want to make sure your carpets are clean. Anyway, no matter what kind of carpets you got, whether it's your area rugs or your wall-to-wall or whatever carpeting you got, it gets a lot of stuff in there because people are walking on it and your pets are doing God only knows what on it. Call our friends at Dry Concepts. For over 21 years, they've been doing my homes, and over 28 years all told in all of South Florida. Your carpets stay cleaner longer when they dry clean them for you because there's no sticky residue left behind, and they've got over 50,000 satisfied customers, so you know they've been doing a lot of things right for a long, long time. When you call Dry Concepts, you really can clean today and entertain tonight. And don't forget, hurricane season is here, and keep in mind that Dry Concepts are also the experts in water damage restoration. Their certified technicians get you out of the mold zone in just minutes, not days, and Dry Concepts can get your home or business dry within 24 to 72 hours. It's guaranteed. And don't forget, Dry Concepts also has got that state-of-the-art Oriental rug cleaning plant. It's the only one in town, right on site, dedicated to keeping your expensive and expansive area rugs looking just like you had brand new laid. So do yourself a humongous favor. Keep everything looking beautiful and brand new, and keep it sanitary, too, by calling Dry Concepts. And Dave Broward of the Palm Beaches, call them toll-free, 1-800-248-5071. That's 1-800-248-5071. Or on the Wicked Web, just log on to dryconcepts.com.
This is Neil Rogers. This is 560 QAM.
Get the honey, Junior.
And you're a despicable, nasty, and invisible, nauseating Otis hag. Please, we're not embarrassed as you flash your skinny pony ass and skirts that hide your dumb pig ass.
Let them.
C-O-U-L. Your daddy rules in hell. T-E-R. Coulter. It takes a camel toe to know its swells and smells.
All the time you're on the news, they can't get enough of you, spewing poison Nazi remarks. They point their cameras low when you're on a pundit show to see your panties in a wad. Obnoxiously belligerent, sermonizing ignorant, a poster child Republican clown. The media gushes over Anne with enormous manly hands and the biggest Adam's apple in town.
Oh, do you know what they tried to cure William Henry Harrison with when he got pneumonia, which turned into pleurisy? Well, he got a bad cold because he got inaugurated in the cold and wind, and they tried to show how butch he was. You know, he was still Tippecanoe.
Right.
Well, the reason I looked up William Henry Harrison is because he was 68. He was the oldest president elected until Reagan, who was 69. And the reason I'm talking about that is because there's a thing about John McCain. Later this month, like in about 5 days, John McCain turns 70. Which means in 2008 he would be 72. Too old, man. Mm-hmm. Too old. Oldie and moldy. What is that?
What?
Uh-oh.
Fire? Arab attack?
Oh, they're having another one of these stupid ass. Yeah, we don't care what they're doing. I don't want to hear about it. Can I close the door here? Can I close the door on my floor?
Good. I'll play my Sharona.
Yeah, we don't care about your fireworks. Hey, the drummer for the Knack is dead. Anyway, getting back to the treatment, the doctors tried everything to cure William Henry Harrison, including opium, castor oil, Virginia snakeweed, and even actual snakes.
They got some of that snakeweed left?
I wonder if they had snakes on the plane back then.
What, no
leeches? 2 baseball teams are sued for women-only freebies.
So is it discrimination, though, or is it just smart marketing? If you have
It's discrimination, bitch. Women-only freebies my ass. Anyway, here's the poll so far, the survey. Where are you usually when you listen to the Neil Rogers Show? Either on the air, if you can hear us with this horrible signal, or online. You do realize that we have people listening online in Dade and Broward.
Yeah.
Because they hear it crystal clear that way as opposed to that great HD audio sound that we got, that we're putting out. Broward 274, Dade 206, Palm Beach 125, Florida, outside of Dade, Broward, and Palm Beach 118, like in Okaloosa. I wonder if we have anybody listening like in Chicoutimi.
To what?
USA outside of Florida 91. Don't start with those Canadian towns, man. We got some really. I like Medicine Hat myself.
Moose Jaw.
That's where Robbie Niedermeyer is from, and Scott Niedermeyer from Medicine Hat. USA outside of Florida 91. I don't listen 29. In outer space 23, and we know which 23 they are too. I hate this poll. Only 13. They hate whatever it is. Whatever we do, they hate it. Canada. Look how many people are listening in Canada.
9.
8 plus me. Mexico 5. Europe 4. Africa 2. Oh my God. I wonder if they're in the Congo, you think? Maybe they're in Zaire, Africa. Doesn't that shock you? Maybe they're in South Africa, wouldn't you think?
It's a big place.
I mean, there's some civilized people living in South Africa.
Could be in Egypt.
Oh, Egypt, my ass. Yeah, maybe Hosni Mubarak is listening. Asia 2, Australia 1, the Middle East 1, South America 1, and Central America out of 904 people checking in on that survey, none. It's kind of like the Jerry Wichner show. It's Chubby checking in. Oh, hi, Jared. It's Chubby checking in. Boy, that was some really great radio, wasn't it?
No.
Wow. Oh, those are the days, man. WNWS, W Snooze. Wow. Here's some exciting news just in only a short while ago. Women may buy the morning after pill. We don't want to get too newsy on you or have me sit here and read a bunch of stuff, but I will. I already shut the monitor off. I'm not taking any calls today. So all you children out there that want to play games, George's going to be taking extra calls tomorrow. He's going to come on a half hour early and stay till midnight just so we can get all the good calls in.
Oh, boy.
Women may buy the morning after pill without a prescription, but only with proof they're 18 or older. Federal health officials ruled today, capping a contentious 3-year effort to ease access to the emergency contraceptive. Girls 17 and younger still will need a doctor's note to buy the pills called Plan B, the FDA told manufacturer Bar Pharmaceuticals, Inc. The compromise decision is a partial victory for women's advocacy and medical groups that say eliminating sales restrictions could cut in half the nation's 3 million annual unplanned pregnancies. Pope's probably not too happy about that. Barra said it hopes to begin non-prescription sales of Plan B by the end of the year. The pills will be sold only, I wonder if B stands for Bush. Ooh, gee, that was bad. I take that back. The pills will be sold only from behind the counter at pharmacies so the pharmacist can check photo ID, but not at convenience stores or gas stations. Speaking of gas stations, thank you again, Mr. President, for those bargain basement gas prices. Now, do I have time now before the break? No, it's too long. No, I'll take the break early. No, because I got a column here on the U.S.-Israeli invasion of Lebanon by Noam Chomsky. Well, see, I'm all Noam Chomsky'd up now. I haven't watched those 2 DVDs the last 2 nights of his lectures at MIT and UC Berkeley, and places, bastions of intellectual activism, like the University of Miami and Miami-Dade and FAU, all of these places. On the U.S. And, of course, all the professional Zionist and Israel apologists out there will want to turn the radio off when I read that. Also, they want to turn it off when I read David Fickling's column from The Guardian. Amnesty report accuses Israel of war crimes. Wouldn't be the first time, and it certainly won't be the last time. You know that the first time they went into Lebanon, well, it wasn't the first time, but the first time they went in big time in 82, they killed 20,000 Lebanese civilians.
Well, they shouldn't have attacked them.
That's correct. And then, of course, we got the Tom Cruise business. I guess I just got time for this quickie before we do the break. Oh, there it is.
Somebody help me!
I got my time in the works right away, and I was actually able to enjoy my Thanksgiving.
Mashed potatoes, gravy, and cranberry sauce.
Like I said, I have no idea about their insurance, but man, their spots are the best. If it isn't the Aflac Duck, it's the Little Richard. And then there's the one with who's the other one? Charo. Have you seen that one?
I've seen them all. Yeah.
Hoochie Coochie.
And the guy that does the movie.
I got kind of tired of her from the Hollywood Squares, but then when you don't see her for about 30 years,
about 30, man.
That's a pretty funny spot.
They've done one with Burt Bacharach.
Oh yeah, I've seen that too. Yeah, he's pretty boring.
And that movie guy.
The movie guy?
The one that does the voice for all the movie trailers, in a world.
I haven't seen that.
Oh, it's good.
The Dutch government says, and of course, not that there's panic, you understand. People are getting all on edge. Amsterdam, Schiphol Airport, baby, been there about 100 times. The incident in which a Northwest Airlines flight bound for India returned to Amsterdam shortly after takeoff yesterday was not terrorism-related, the Dutch state broadcaster said today. What a surprise, huh? Well, when you see a bunch of ragheads in there with a bunch of cell phones passing them back and forth, and doing rock, paper, scissors. Wednesday's flight was escorted back to Schiphol Airport by Dutch fighter jets after the crew of the DC-10 became suspicious of some of the passengers, and 12 people aboard were arrested. But NOS News quoted Justice Minister Piet Hein Donner as saying there were no signs of a terrorist threat aboard the flight. It was much ado about nothing, which most of this stuff is much ado about nothing. But keep the people on edge, baby. Keep them in a panic. It's the fear factor. That's what the right-wingers are looking for. And the Blairmeister, Bush's poodle. He's got those other two ugly dogs that are all schlepping around on the White House lawn. You always see in the photo ops. But he's also got a poodle, which, Tony Blair. Wouldn't you go on vacation if you thought there was going to be like a major terrorist attack and they were going to blow up 10 planes? Would you go on vacation? Or would you go to Sarasota and read My Pet Goat to a bunch of little kids?
Oh, that sounds like a fun vacation.
Yeah.
You get to see some body parts flying around, maybe some of yours.
Here's the story about the meowing.
Roy's family and the lady have apparently been feuding for a while now, especially after the family cat used the woman's flower garden as a litter box.
Oh, yeah, we had that story before we beat you, MSNBC. No wonder nobody watches your crappy network. I think we're going to get 1,000, what do we got? 930, 900 and...
About 30, man.
By 11:30. Didn't I predict that earlier?
Yes, you did.
We'll have over 1,000 people on there, and that probably is the whole audience.
This is Neil Rogers.
Not bad.
This is
compared to that Jiffy Lube across the street.
This is the Neil Rogers Show. This is your brain. Any questions?
I'm telling you, Moses was the wisest man. What are you, Meshuggah? Abraham was the wisest. I'm telling you, Moses. No, I say Abraham. Moses. Abraham. Gentlemen, let us rest. Amen to that.
After a hard day arguing religious law, these thirsty scholars head for their favorite refreshments. Israel Light Beer.
It's a mitzvah.
Israel Light. Smooth as lox and cream cheese.
And it tastes great. But last the feeling. Tastes great. Last the feeling. Don't be a schlemiel. It tastes great.
Israel Light. The beer chosen by the chosen people.
So what's your favorite word? Schlemiel, schmagegi, or schmendrick?
What?
So many... What? Schlemiel, schmagegi.
Schmagegi?
Or schmendrick. You better brush up on your Yiddish, mister.
Sorry. Coxahoist.
Ephraim in Baton Rouge, Louisiana says, where did you find the article about the black kids being forced to the back of the school bus? Oh, I just made it up, Ephraim.
We do that all the time.
It's in the Shreveport Times, Shreveport, Louisiana, baby. It's in today's newspaper by Vicki Wellborn, Welborn. Coushatta, Louisiana, Coush. I don't think we can say that. Anything with SH. Coushatta.
It's filthy in Spanish.
Louisiana. Is it really?
I don't know.
Probably. Also, it says, by the way, I love Noam Chomsky. His August 19th piece on the U.S.-Israeli invasion of Lebanon was brilliant. Well, guess what, Ephraim? Ephraim Zimbalist Jr. I don't know too many Ephraims, but we got the one in Louisiana who's a big fan.
All right.
Look at this. We got two people in Central America. Oh, yeah. I feel like maybe they're in Guatemala or Nicaragua, huh? Or Panama. By the way, Bush 1 did a hell of a job on Nicaragua, man. There's almost nothing left of it. You'd never recognize it. Noam Chomsky on the U.S.-Israeli invasion of Lebanon. He says, though there are many interacting factors, the immediate issue that lies behind the latest U.S.-Israeli invasion of Lebanon remains, I believe, what was in the 4 preceding invasions, the Israel-Palestine conflict. In the most important case, the devastating U.S.-backed 1982 Israeli invasion was openly described in Israel as a war for the West Bank, undertaken to put an end to annoying PLO calls for diplomatic settlement with a secondary goal of imposing a client regime in Lebanon. There are numerous other illustrations. Despite the many differences in circumstances, the July 2006 invasion falls generally into the same pattern. Among mainstream American critics of Bush administration policies, the favored version is that we always had approached conflict between Israel and its neighbors in a balanced way, assuming that we could be a catalyst for an agreement. But Bush, too, regrettably abandoned that neutral stance, causing great problems for the U.S. Middle East specialist and former diplomat Edward Walker, a leading moderate, said that. The actual record is quite different. For over 30 years, Washington has unilaterally barred a peaceful political settlement with only slight and brief deviations. The consistent rejectionism can be traced back to the February 71 Egyptian offer of a full peace treaty with Israel in the terms of official U.S. policy, offering nothing for the Palestinians. Israel understood that this peace offer would put an end to any security threat, but the government decided to reject security in favor of expansion, then mostly in the northeastern Sinai. Washington supported Israel's stand, adhering to Kissinger's principle of stalemate, force, not diplomacy. It was only 8 years later, after a terrible war and great suffering, that Washington agreed to Egypt's demand for withdrawal from its territory. Meanwhile, the Palestinian issue had entered the international agenda, and a broad international consensus had crystallized in favor of a two-state settlement on the pre-June 67 border, perhaps with minor and mutual adjustments. In December 75, the UN Security Council agreed to consider a resolution proposed by the Arab confrontation states with these provisions, also incorporating the basic wording of UN 242. The U.S. vetoed the resolution. Israel's reaction was to bomb Lebanon, killing over 50 people in Natabia, calling the attack preventative, presumably to prevent the UN session, which Israel boycotted. The only significant exception to consistent U.S.-Israeli rejectionism was in January 2001, when Israeli and Palestinian negotiators came close to agreement in Taba. But the negotiations were called off by Israeli Prime Minister Barak 4 days early, ending that promising effort. Unofficial but high-level negotiations continued, leading to the Geneva Accord of December 2002 with similar proposals. It was welcomed by most of the world, but rejected by Israel and dismissed by Washington, and reflexively the U.S. media and intellectual classes. Meanwhile, U.S.-backed Israeli settlement and infrastructure programs have been creating facts on the ground in order to undermine potential realization of Palestinian national rights. Throughout the Oslo years, these programs continued steadily, with a sharp peak in 2000, Clinton's final year, and Barak's. The current euphemism for these programs is disengagement from Gaza and convergence in the West Bank. In Western rhetoric, Ehud Olmert's courageous program of withdrawal from the occupied territories. The reality, as usual, is quite different. The Gaza disengagement was openly announced as a West Bank expansion plan. Having turned Gaza into a disaster area, sane Israeli hawks realized that there was no point leaving a few thousand settlers taking the best land and scarce resources protected by a large part of the IDF. It made more sense to send them to the West Bank and Golan Heights, where new settlement programs were announced, while turning Gaza into the world's largest prison, as Israeli human rights groups accurately call it. West Bank convergence formalizes these programs of annexation, cantonization, and imprisonment. With decisive U.S. support, Israel is annexing valuable lands and the most important resources of the West Bank, primarily water, while carrying out settlement and infrastructure projects that divide the shrinking Palestinian territories into unviable cantons, virtually separated from one another, and from whatever pitiful corner of Jerusalem will be left to the Palestinians. All are to be imprisoned as Israel takes over the Jordan Valley and, of course, any other access to the outside world. All of these programs are recognized to be illegal in violation of numerous Security Council resolutions, and the unanimous decision of the World Court: any part of the separation wall that is built to defend the settlements is ipso facto illegal. Hence, about 80 to 85% of the wall is illegal, as is the entire convergence program. But for a self-designated outlaw state and its clients, such factors are minor irrelevances. Currently, the U.S. and Israel demand that Hamas accept the 2002 Arab League Beirut proposal for full normalization of relations with Israel after withdrawal in accord with the international consensus. The proposal has long been accepted by the PLO. It has also been formally accepted by the Supreme Leader of Iran, Ayatollah Khamenei. Syed Hassan Nasrallah also made it clear that Hezbollah would not disrupt such an agreement if it's accepted by the Palestinians. Hamas has repeatedly indicated its willingness to negotiate in these terms. The facts are doctrinally unacceptable, hence mostly suppressed. What we see instead is the stern warning to Hamas by the editors of the New York Times that their formal agreement to the Beirut peace plan is an admission ticket to the real world, a necessary rite of passage in the progression from a lawless opposition to a lawful government. Like others, the New York Times editors fail to mention that the U.S. and Israel forcefully reject this proposal and are alone in doing so among relevant actors. Furthermore, they reject it not merely in rhetoric, but far more importantly in deeds. We see at once who constitutes the lawless opposition and who speaks for them, but that conclusion cannot be expressed, even entertained, in respectable circles. The only meaningful support for Palestinians facing national destruction is from Hezbollah. For this reason alone, it follows that Hezbollah must be severely weakened or destroyed, just as the PLO had to be evicted from Lebanon in '82. But Hezbollah is too deeply embedded within Lebanese society to be eradicated, so Lebanon too must be largely destroyed. An expected benefit for the U.S. and Israel was to enhance the credibility of threats against Iran by eliminating a Lebanese-based deterrent to a possible attack. But none of this turned out as planned. Much as in Iraq and elsewhere, Bush administration planners have created catastrophes even for the interests they represent. That's the primary reason for the unprecedented criticism of the administration among foreign policy elite even before the invasion of Iraq. In the background lie far more reaching and lasting concerns to ensure what is called stability in the reigning ideology. Stability, in simple words, means obedience. Stability is undermined by states that do not strictly follow orders, secular nationalist Islamists who are not under control, in contrast, of course, to Saudi monarchy, the oldest and most valuable U.S. ally, is fine, etc. Such destabilizing forces are especially dangerous when their programs are attractive to others, in which case they're called viruses that must be destroyed. Stability is enhanced by loyal client states. Since 1967, it's been assumed that Israel can play this role along with other peripheral states. Israel has virtually become an offshore U.S. military base and high-tech center, the natural consequence of its rejection of security in favor of expansion in '71 and repeatedly since. These policies are subject to little internal debate, whoever holds state power. The policies extend worldwide, and in the Middle East their significance is enhanced by one of the leading principles of foreign policy since World War II, and for Britain before that, to ensure control over Middle East energy resources, recognized for 60 years to be a stupendous source of strategic power and one of the greatest material prizes in world history. The standard Western version is that the July 2006 invasion was justified by legitimate outrage over the capture of 2 Israeli soldiers at the border. The posture is cynical fraud. The U.S. and Israel, and the West generally, have little objection to capture of soldiers, or even to the far more severe crime of kidnapping civilians and, of course, killing civilians. That had been Israeli practice in Lebanon for many years, and no one ever suggested that Israel should therefore be invaded and largely destroyed. Western cynicism was revealed with even more dramatic clarity as the current upsurge of violence erupted after Palestinian militants captured an Israeli soldier, Gilad Shalit, on June 25th. That, too, elicited huge outrage and support for Israel's sharp escalation of its murderous assault on Gaza. The scale is reflected in casualties. In June, 36 Palestinian civilians were killed in Gaza. In July, the numbers more than quadrupled to over 170, dozens of them children. The posture of outrage was again cynical fraud, as demonstrated dramatically and conclusively by the reaction to Israel's kidnapping of 2 Gaza civilians, the Muammar brothers, one day before on June 24th. They disappeared into Israel's prison system, joining hundreds of others imprisoned without charge, hence kidnapped, as are many of those sentenced on dubious charges. There was some brief and dismissive mention of the kidnapping of the Muammar brothers, but no reaction because such crimes are considered legitimate when carried out by our side. The idea that this crime would justify a murderous assault on Israel would have been regarded as a reversion to Nazism. The distinction is clear and familiar throughout history. To paraphrase Thucydides, the powerful are entitled to do as they wish, while the weak suffer as they must. We should not overlook the progress that's been made in undermining the imperial mentality that's so deeply rooted in Western moral and intellectual culture as to be beyond awareness, nor should we forget the scale of what remains to be achieved, tasks that must be undertaken in solidarity and cooperation by people in North and South who hope to see a more decent and civilized world. So wrote Noam Chomsky August 19, on the U.S.-Israeli invasion of Lesbian. Is that chick still on the air on Channel 4? I bet she is. I bet she's still looking at all that lesbian on stuff.
I don't know.
Only in South Florida, baby. A major market. Bush League, baby. Bush League. Minor league. Little league. Even the little league kids, man, laugh their ass off when you mention South Florida. They're just chuckling and puking up a storm. Oh, speaking of chuckling and puking up a storm, I discovered yesterday, which I don't think I ever played this before, if I can find the damn thing. How do you like that? That's Jackie Bales.
Oh.
Or no, it's not Jackie, but who's
not Jackie Bales? The other Jackie.
Who was that?
Jackie Quinn?
Is that it?
I can talk.
That's her, yeah.
That sounds like Scotty Mac.
Well,
listen,
I can talk.
It doesn't? Either that or Barbara Starr or Hank.
I'm hyperventilating.
Oh, that's right. No, Scotty Mac was much higher, in a higher register.
I just want to die.
Oh, no. Jackie Quinn?
I think.
I don't know no Jackie Quinn. I didn't know no Godfather.
I forget. I'm sorry to say. Sorry, well, Jackie. Sorry, I forgot your last name.
We had so many of these people. How about Arlene Wolf? I wonder what she's doing, the big bad wolf. How about Mike Wolf? Didn't Ronna Fink Wolf get canned? Or did I just have that as a dream, as a wishful thinking?
I don't know. I didn't keep track.
Yeah, she got canned at Cheap Channel. But the assassin Pete Bolger, he's still there screwing up places. Maybe he and Greg Reed could get together, form a consulting group, or just have a group grope. Where are you usually when you're listening to the Neil Rogers Show? In the radio, on the pot, or online? We got 973 people have checked in, and every place we got on here has got at least one. Aren't you excited about that?
Thrilled
like tremendous pressure knowing that there are people all over the globe. And, of course, you got to credit the tremendous QAM publicity staff for making the show so popular all around the world. Broward and even 300. Dade, 222. Look at those numbers, man. 300 and 222. Palm Beach, 132. Florida outside of Dade, Broward, and Palm Beach, 127. The U.S. outside of Florida, 94. All over the place. I don't listen, 33. But you better start. In outer space, 25. I hit this poll, only 13. Canada, still 9. Me and 8 other Canucks. Mexico, 5. I think we ought to start putting a Mexico line.
Hola.
Europe, 4. Africa, 2. Asia, 2. Central America, dos. And 1 in Australia, the Middle East, and South America. I think there's some slop over there in the Middle East and Asia.
Oh,
what
man.
Do you think?
Don't say that.
What?
Slop?
Some slop over.
Oh,
don't say slop when you're talking about Joy.
This is Neil Rogers.
How about slop?
This is 560 QAM.
Screw the callers. Oh!
Go to Geldy. Stop. 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 Go to Geldy with me. Stop. 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 Stop the whistle can. Stop. Stop. Wow. Wow. Wow.
Okay, let me ask you this. I think we just made radio history. What other radio show in the history of this business has ever had the host read an article by Noam Chomsky followed by Do the Geldy?
I think it's a first.
I think we just did it.
And a last. I don't think anybody will ever do that again.
In the Guinness Book of Records. I'm really impressed. Now let's see. We got 10 minutes to get to. Oh, we already got 1,000. Holy moly, man! Everything's coming up roses. Who did that song? Was that Steve Lawrence? Did Steve Allen write that? I always think Steve Allen wrote that.
I don't know. What of roses?
Everything's coming up roses. Oh, you don't have that. If you have that song, man, I'm going to fall off the chair.
Isn't that Ethel Merman?
Yeah, she sang that, Ethel Merman, and a few other vermin.
Sorry.
She didn't
I'll
sing, man. She belted it out.
Oh,
She was a screamer. Like most of these entertainment reporters you got on the Talking Heads we were talking about before the show. A screamer. Yeah, that's the new prerequisite for every show now. They have to have some entertainment reporter who's a flaming queen, man, a screaming queen. Thank God that television doesn't put a lot of ugly stereotypes on there to reinforce people's preconceived notion in the basket. We got 1,000 people checked in. Now let's look at the bottom. 1 from Australia and the Middle East, and 1 from South America. 2 from Central America, 2 from Asia, 2 from Africa, 4 from Europe, 5 Mexico, and 9 Canada still. Those are the ones we care about. Right?
Right.
With all due respect to our, Florida people, who cares about them? David Fickling in The Guardian writes, Amnesty report accuses Israel of war crimes. That's got to be more anti-Semitic propaganda, wouldn't you think?
I'm sure it is.
Israel deliberately targeted civilian infrastructure and committed war crimes during the month-long conflict in Lebanon, according to an Amnesty International report. The report said strikes on civilian buildings and structures went beyond collateral damage and amounted to indiscriminate and disproportionate attacks under the Geneva Conventions on the Laws of War. Kate Gilmore, the Amnesty Executive Deputy Secretary General, said the bombardment of power and water plants and transport links was deliberate and an integral part of a military strategy. Israel's assertion that the attacks on infrastructure were lawful is manifestly wrong, she said. Many of the violations identified in the report are war crimes. The pattern, scope, and scale of the attacks makes Israel's claim that this was collateral damage simply not credible, is what she said.
Incredible.
Yeah, that's it. Amnesty called for an official UN inquiry into human rights violations on both sides of the conflict. The report's authors described the destruction of up to 90% of some towns and villages in southern Lebanon, releasing aerial photographs that showed Beirut's southern Dahia district had been transformed from a bustling suburb into a gray wasteland. A gray wasteland.
Well, they shouldn't have attacked them.
In village after village, the pattern was similar. The streets, especially the main streets, were scarred with artillery craters along their length, the report said. In some cases, cluster bomb impacts were identified. Houses were singled out for precision-guided missile attack and were destroyed totally or partially as a result. Business premises such as supermarkets or food stores and auto service stations and petrol stations were targeted, often with precision-guided munitions and artillery that started fires and destroyed their contents. Israel launched more than 7,000 airstrikes against Lebanon during the 34-day war, and naval vessels launched 2,500 shells. About a third of the 1,183 people killed in Lebanon were children, while 4,054 people were injured, and 970,000, just under a million, displaced refugees. Lebanese estimates suggest that 30,000 houses, along with up to 120 bridges, 94 roads, 25 fuel stations, 900 businesses, and a partridge in a pear tree were destroyed. 2 hospitals were destroyed, 3 others severely damaged, while 31 vital points such as airports, ports, water and sewage treatment plants, and electrical facilities were also completely or partially destroyed. Gee, I can't understand why they hate us, you know?
Anti-Semitism.
The Israel and U.S.,
right.
You can't separate
them. The hate is for our freedom.
The overall cost of the damage amounted to $3.5 billion. Around 4,000 Hezbollah rockets were fired at northern Israel during the conflict, killing around 40 civilians. Up to 300,000 people in northern Israel were driven into bomb shelters by the fighting, and 117 soldiers died. The Amnesty report said, and by the way, that 117 soldiers would be the equivalent of like 5,000 American soldiers based on the population.
Okay.
5,000 or 6,000. The Amnesty report said Israeli military policy seemed directed at destroying Lebanese popular support for Hezbollah, a tactic prohibited by the Geneva Conventions. The widespread destruction, in addition to several statements by Israeli officials, suggest a policy of punishing both the Lebanese government and the civilian population in an effort to get them to turn against Hezbollah. It said, boy, that sure worked really well, didn't it?
Just like a charm. They don't exist anymore, do they?
Red Cross officials were quoted as saying that people left behind in inaccessible villages in southern Lebanon have been unable to get a hold of fresh water. Refugees from the border village of Ramesh told Red Cross delegates that locals had to drink foul water from an irrigation ditch to stay alive. The report's allegation of disproportionate action echoes comments made during the conflict by international observers, including French, Russian, and EU officials and UN humanitarian chief Jan Egeland. However, the British governments avoided the term, which could be considered an accusation of war crimes, although the former Foreign Secretary Jack Straw and the Conservative Foreign Affairs spokesman William Hague both used that term. Okay, what's this fax? From Elaine Belasco. She says, I went to the University of Pennsylvania with Noam Chomsky. Even back then, he was a voice for justice. I'm old, too, but I love your program. Thank you, Elaine. We're all old, honey. We are really old, man. Old farts. There's nothing like...
Boy!
You know, back in the day, I used to make fun of all the old people. Now I'm one of them. Mm-hmm. Well, I'm not one of them, no. I'll never be one of them. I won't.
No, you have to take surly lessons.
You have to be of a certain character, and you have to... Like I've always said, those people were nasty and mean and rotten and when they were young. They didn't change.
Right.
They just chronologically, that's all. They were probably opening their neighbor's mail when they were 20.
Get out of here, Sonny. It's our time. Get out of here. What do you want? Dr. Dunn, I got blue lips, Dr. Dunn. What am I going to do? Mein Kopf hat weh.
Yeah, my grandmother used to say that when she had a headache. Yeah, who knows what she was talking about. You know what my grandmother used to call my aunt? The Meshuggah. Yeah, my mother used to tell me that every time I go to lunch. Her sister, the Meshuggah. Boy, the two of them were like oil and water.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry, Rita. 1,018 votes on the... well, they're not votes. They're like checking... We ought to have like 50,000 on here, wouldn't you think?
I'd imagine.
One of these days you're going to explain to me how that works. In other words, if you have AOL and there's anybody within a 75-block radius who tries to get on there, you can't vote on the poll. Is that how it is?
Right. Something like that.
So let's just multiply times 75. We got 75,000 people checked in so far.
This is Neil Rogers. Oh, this is 560 QAM.
Lebanese and Israelis. There's a conflict in the Middle East, and it's not very smart. It could be the start of World War III. We all know those people are insane on that part of the globe. Things are really bad. With all those guns, what will still? As I watch them kill each other, I keep wondering why they're all gonna die. Lebanese and Israelis, there's a conflict in the Middle East, and it's not very smart. It could be the start of World War III. Lebanese, Israelis, they've been fighting for centuries. Lebanese, Israelis, watch it every day on your TV. Lebanese, Israelis, you'll see thousands of refugees. Lebanese, Israelis, with some are getting there, not getting me. Lebanese, I don't think there ever will be a little peace in the Middle East. It's impossible to understand. A little peace in the Middle East. Stevie Wonder will never see. A little peace in the Middle East. There'll be something neither will be. Lebanese, Israelis, might be the start of World War III. Lebanese, Israelis, there's a missile and it's coming at me.
Anyway, for George's Yiddish vocabulary, Kopfetig, I can't believe I let all these years go by without teaching you that one.
I'm going to write it down.
Headache.
And how do we spell it phonetically?
Oh, C-O-P, like cop. Cop, I don't know. How the hell, I don't know.
Fake?
Vedic.
Vedic.
V-A-I-T-I-C. How the hell would you spell Yiddish?
I'm telling you
So I say,
phonetically.
how do you spell schmagegi,
like how,
okay?
if you spelled it phonetically, that's what I want, so I can rehearse.
Kopfetig.
Kopfetig.
And even,
Kopfetig.
even Josh could say that.
Oi.
Come on, Josh.
Kopfetig? That was in Russian.
Rhymes with pathetic. Hey, Neil, couldn't you give a little kissy-kissy to Israel and stop with these stories? No. I'm getting a Kopfetig from people like that. The professional Israel defenders all the time. In fact, I wasn't even going to read this story. I probably would not. I've got such a pile here. Too bad I had to reach over a long time ago and shut off that phone monitor. Robert Fisk in the Independent UK writes, see, this is the thing. American media is a bunch of crap. If you want to find anything that's going on in the world, go online, do a little research. Otherwise, just watch the American media and get a little more about John Bonet.
Before they take that over, too.
Let's take a listen.
See, there you go.
Explain to me what's going on, okay? There's a note left and our daughter's gone. A note was left and your daughter is gone? How old is your daughter? 6 years old. She's gone. 6 years old.
She was just a patsy. Anyway, untold story of the massacre of Mar Jayun leaves blame on both sides of the border, writes Robert Fisk, who, as I've told you before, lives in Lebanon.
Okay.
He says this is written yesterday. There are a few marks on the road where the missiles hit the innocents of Mar Jayun, but there are the memories of what happened immediately after the Israeli airstrike on the convoy of 3,000 people after dark on August 11th. A 16-year-old Christian girl screaming, "I want my daddy," as her father's mutilated body lay a few meters away from her. The town Mukhtar, discovering that his wife Khaled had been decapitated by one of the Israeli missiles, the Lebanese Red Cross volunteer who went into the darkness of wartime Lebanon to give water and sandwiches to the refugees and was cut down by another missile, and whose friends couldn't reach him to save his life. There are those who break down when they recall the massacre at Jub Janin, and then there are the Israelis who gave permission to the refugees to leave Mar Jayun, who specified what roads they should use, and who then attacked them with pilotless missile-firing drone aircraft. 5 days after being asked to account for the tragedy, as of last night, still hadn't bothered to explain how they killed at least 7 refugees and wounded 36 others just 3 days before a UN ceasefire came into effect. It is one of the untold stories of the Israeli-Hezbollah war. There are others infinitely more bloody, but the ultimate tragedy of these largely Christian refugees involved a raft of Lebanese officers and ministers, the Prime Minister of Lebanon, the U.S. Ambassador, and the Israeli Defense Ministry. It all began on August 10 when the Israelis staged a small ground offensive into Lebanon after a month of massive bombing of Lebanese villages in the south. Brigadier General Adnan Daoud, commanding a mixed force of 350 Lebanese paramilitary police and soldiers at the barracks in the pretty Christian town of Mar Jayun, found a man at the gate at 9 a.m. an Israeli officer calling himself Colonel Ayasha. Brigadier General Daoud, whose men were not fighting the Israelis, called the Lebanese Interior Minister Ahmad Fatfat, F-A-T.
Okay.
I'm sure that's not how you pronounce it, but I can't resist. Ahmad Fatfat, who endorsed Fatfat's word, Daoud's decision to let him in. Ayasha spent 4 hours looking around the barracks to assure himself that there were no Hezbollah members there. Then he left. Daoud put a white flag on the guardhouse. But at 4 p.m. that afternoon, an Israeli tank unit approached the barracks and started to shoot their way in. Daoud again was told by Fatfat to let the Israelis who, according to Daoud, informed him were the occupiers and were in charge. An Israeli officer then locked Daoud into a room. Thousands of Christians in Marjoun now feared for their lives. According to several aid workers, Hezbollah were firing rockets from behind the town's hospital, which was immediately abandoned by the Lebanese Red Cross. The inhabitants believed, with good reason, that Hezbollah's missiles would be redirected from Israel onto Marjoun itself, now that the town had been taken over by Israeli troops and tanks. Locked in his room, Daoud now called Fatfat again. And Fatfat called the Lebanese Prime Minister Fouad Siniora, who by chance was talking to U.S. Ambassador to Beirut, Jeffrey Feltman. Feltman, either via the State Department or directly to the U.S. Embassy in Tel Aviv, told his diplomats to call the Israeli Defense Ministry, and they swiftly replied that there should be no Israeli troops in Daoud's barracks, but the Israelis in Marjoun refused to believe what Daoud told them. Marjoun's inhabitants, however, were now in a state of panic, and Daoud called Fatfat at 7 p.m. to start arranging for a refugee convoy north from Marjoun to Beirut. The Lebanese government, according to Fatfat, called the UN command in southern Lebanon at 5 a.m. the next day, August 11th, to seek clearance from the Israelis to allow the thousands of refugees to be convoyed north. The UN, according to the government of Beirut, subsequently notified General Abdurrahman Shaidi, assistant to the head of Lebanese military intelligence, that the convoy had permission from the Israelis to travel. 2 UN armored vehicles, crewed by Indian troops, subsequently turned up in Marjoun to find at least 3,000 people, including Shia Muslim refugees from the surrounding devastated villages, waiting to leave. We had a total agreement they would go out to the Bekaa Valley, and from Elaine Pellegrini, the UN commander, Fatfat said, the road was also agreed. But there were delays. Part of the road had been heavily bombed, had to be repaired. It was 4 p.m. before the convoy crept slowly out of Marjoun, down 350 soldiers in the lead. The UN vehicles then abandoned the convoy at Hasbaya, the northern limit of UN operations, leaving the refugees dangerously exposed. The UN had already warned the Lebanese authorities that it was too late for the convoy to leave. They went so slowly, I was enraged, the relief worker recalls. People at friendly villages would come out and give the refugees food and water and want to talk to them, and people would stop to greet old friends as if this was tourism. The convoy was only going at 5 miles an hour. It was getting dark. The 3,000 refugees now trailed up to the Bekaa after nightfall were approaching the ancient Kifraya vineyards at Jub Jenin when disaster struck them at 8 p.m. The first bomb hit the second car, a reporter for Reuters said. I was halfway back down the road. My friend Eli Salami was standing there. Oh, Salami and Fatfat, asking me if I had any spare gasoline. That's when the second missile struck and Ellie's head and shoulders were blown away. His daughter Sally is 16, and she jumped from the car and cried out, I want my daddy, but he was gone. Speaking of the killings yesterday, this Reuters reporter breaks down and cries. He tried to carry his arthritic mother from his own car, but she complained that he was hurting her, so he put her back on the passenger seat and sat beside her, waiting for a violent death which mercifully never came. But it did arrive for Khalat al-Rashad, wife of the Mukhtar, who was beheaded in her Cherokee Jeep, and for a member of the Tata family from Deir Mimas and 2 other refugees, and for a Lebanese soldier and 35-year-old Michael Jabali, the Red Cross volunteer from Mazali, who was blasted in the air when a rocket exploded behind him. There was panic, the Marjoun mayor said. Many people drove away. They had clearance. Everything should have been okay. If Hezbollah was supposed to be carrying weapons at night, they would have been traveling in the opposite direction. Who flew the drones? An Israeli soldier of the invasion force? A nameless officer in the Israeli Defense Ministry in Tel Aviv? The Israelis knew a civilian convoy was on the road, yet they sent their pilotless machines to attack it. Why? As of last night, the Israeli Defense Ministry had not responded to inquiries from reporters who asked for the answer last Friday. How you like that?
Those people
Lovely,
should have attacked Israel.
Yeah, those damn lesbianese, man. Here's a fax from Professor Alex. Hey, I got news for you, man. Who needs Noam Chomsky when we got Professor Alex Weenie Peeny?
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Rogers, on today's poll, please check. Oh, yeah, right. Dade, Miami-Dade. No, we don't do Miami-Dade on this show. I hate to break the news to you.
We don't recognize Miami-Dade.
No, we do not recognize Miami-Dade. We know it's a foreign country, and we recognize Dade County. It's been that way for like over 100 years.
That's right.
It wasn't Henry Flagler had something to do with that? Henry Flagler?
He might have.
Yeah.
They explain it right
He said,
there.
I've been working on the railroad, something like that.
The professor has a good explanation.
Oh, it says here, Dade was created in 1836. It was named for Mayor Francis L. Dade, a soldier killed in 1835 in the Second Seminole War, what has since been named the Dade Battlefield. The county seat was originally at Indian Key in the Florida Keys. But on July 22nd, 1997, it changed from Dade to Miami-Dade. Thank you for your assistance with this matter. And there's a picture of Professor Alex Weenie Peeny. former Dade mayor, now St. Thomas University professor, teaches undergraduates as a senior fellow and professor of public policy. Well, screw you, Alex, okay? And get that parrot off your shoulder. Oh, it's not a parrot, it's Juan Medieta.
Who was here the other day?
He was?
Yeah.
Doing what?
Juan
Medieta. What was he doing there?
He was doing Juan.
No, seriously.
And he was cutting a PSA or something for someone.
Wow.
Somewhere.
He was cutting the cheese?
Stopped in to say hi.
Wow. Good thing he didn't do that when he was on Alex Pini's shoulder.
Wanted me to give you his love.
Well,
I got it right here in the basket.
I don't remember what he looked like.
I'll send it to you.
No. Probably old and ugly now anyway.
Yes.
1,060 votes on the poll, on the survey. Why do I keep saying on the poll? Oh, there's that sellout, the dark-complected guy. What the hell's his name, that one in the middle there on MSNBC?
Beyond just silly.
Oh, my God. What's worse, sellout Jews or sellout blacks? I think sellout blacks are the absolute...
Don't make me choose. Sellouts, period.
Choose Jews? Well, you would. Oh, it's Armstrong Williams, another right-wing, self-hating black guy. Oh, my God. And who's that ex-jock from Oklahoma? What's his name, Josh, that black ex-jock?
Oh, that black ex-jock?
From Oklahoma. Get out of here. You're such a... Well, now, what did he say again? Kopvetik. I want to hear you say it again.
Well, say it one more time, and I'll try to pronounce it.
Kopvetik.
Kopvetik. That was a little Jewish right there.
What are you usually... What are you usually, idiot? Where are you usually when you listen to the Neil Rogers Show, either on the air over the horrible old-fashioned radio or online? 1,060 people have checked in. George says that means we got 2 million people listening. Broward, 324. Dade, 251. Palm Beach, 145. Well, that figures. Outside of those three counties in Florida, 134. Like, Tallahatchie. What was the name of the bridge in Ode to Billy Joe? The Tallahatchie Bridge.
Tallahatchie.
How do you like that? What a memory. Is there such a place, or is it upstream from Antrim?
I don't know. Do you remember his last name?
USA outside of Florida, 108. I don't listen, 34. They vote, they check our website, they don't listen. In outer space, 27. We believe you. I hate this poll, only 14. Canada, 10. How do you like that? There's Bobby Gentry on Capitol Records. Ode to Billy Joe.
Was the 3rd of June.
What a talk-up, huh? Okay, that's enough of that bit. You see that movie? Robbie Benson was in it, and he done something with some guy in a tent. He pitched a tent. Yeah, and then he jumped into the... Now, who played his girlfriend? Who else was in that?
Oh, I'm going to have to Google that.
Oh, that's bad. You're supposed to know these things.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, you know what movie was on last night?
I give up.
Oh, what the hell's it called? The Neighbor. With Rod Steiger. Did you ever see that? It's only got 2 stars on the thing there.
That sounds familiar. I might have seen that.
Where he played the crazy doctor, and he was the next door neighbor.
That
and
sounds very familiar.
Baby.
Uh-huh.
It was the neighbor. It's good. Canada 10, Mexico 5, Europe 4, Central America 3. Oh, my God, we're moving up into Tegucigalpa. The Middle East 2, Africa 2, Asia 2, Australia 1, and South America solamente 1.
This is Neil Rogers.
Probably in Caracas.
This is
Glynis O'Connor.
Our brand new lineup starts next Monday, August 28th. Mark that down on your wrist, okay, like in Memento. Am I right? Next Monday, August 28th?
That's right. Coming up.
A day that'll live in infamy. Where'd George go?
He's probably taking a deuce.
Oh, no. And an ace and a trace is what I'm hearing. Hey, listen, if your mattress is lumpy and bumpy or your kids are going back to school, you've got to make sure you're sleeping on a really great quality mattress. And if you want to get one at a price that you can afford and get delivery that is second to none in the world, then call our good friends at Dollar Mattress, 1-800-MATTRESS. They can recommend a mattress for kids of any age and, of course, for you adults as well. Have a new bed delivered the date and time you choose, any day, 7 days a week from 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. It's so easy, even a child can do it. Just make that call right now and pick the time that's convenient for you when you're going to be home. Noon to 2, 3 to 5, 4:27 to 6:27, etc. And they'll show up on time. They can even deliver your mattress the same day that you call, especially like if you call right now, you can be sleeping like a baby tonight. You can't beat this any way around. Anytime I've needed a new mattress for years and years, I just sit there and make one easy call off my fat old ass. Call 1-800-MATTRESS right now. Get the best prices and the best selection of the top names like Sealy, Anserta, Simmons, King Coil, Tempur-Pedic, Stearns & Foster, Hewitt, all the other top names too. Check for low prices on their website at mattress.com, or better yet, call Dollar Mattress right now. And like I said, they'll be knocking on your door in no time at all. 1-800-MATTRESS, 1-800-MATTRES. Leave off the last S because it stands for Stupendous Savings.
Want a lollipop, little boy?
And some schlummeal tries to put me down and says he has a larger congregation. I tell him right away, now listen here, good negate, you heard of my show. It's number 1 in the nation. All his face, Kimball's all his words, so be true to your show. Like you went to your mule. show. Yes, be true to your 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 show. Yes, be true to your
All the gets me's all the time, baby. That's the world for you, in a nutshell. I think maybe they enjoy these Chomsky lectures. Maybe I should send those to you, too. I bet you they're going to be real cheap on Amazon.
Yeah, I'll watch those.
I'll send them to you next week. No, you really enjoy them. But the problem is, like I said, he's like 78 years old or something like that. How much longer is he going to be around? And Gore Vidal is about 110. Speaking of great intellectuals, Paramount cuts ties with Tom Cruise.
You fairy.
Look at that poll right now. Speaking of that.
How likely are they to see a movie when it's Cruise?
Mel
I didn't see it. What did it say? Oh, there's Mel Gibson.
60-some% said not likely.
69%.
Yeah.
69, that sounds awfully gay, Tommy.
You fairy.
The latest high-profile Hollywood breakup is between a movie star and a top studio. And how come they got that idiot Mel Gibson on there, you anti-Semitic idiot?
People are kind of unforgiving when they say, this is the person who we loved. We don't love him anymore.
Well, that's for damn sure. Well, I never loved him in the first place. I liked him okay. I thought he was, all right. I liked Rain Man and Born on the 4th of July. What else?
Well, Last Samurai.
I didn't see that.
Did you like Risky Business? Because in those days...
it was okay.
Yeah, it was okay.
It was all right when he was... See, back then when he was jumping up and down on the couch in his underwear, it was okay, and Oprah was not okay.
Right.
Anyway, Sumner Redstone, whose company owns Paramount Pictures, said the studio would sever its 14-year relationship with Cruise's film production company because his recent conduct has not been acceptable to Paramount. That's the Paramount issue. Paramount. Remember The Godfather in the beginning? Paramount Pictures presents The Godfather. As much as we like him personally, the Viacom Inc. chairman told the Wall Street Journal, we thought it was wrong to renew his deal. Cruise's partner, Paula Wagner. What does that mean?
Business partner.
Oh.
Calm down.
Cruise's partner, Paula Wagner. See, I thought maybe it was a misprint. I thought it was going to be his partner. It was Paul Wagner. Or Paula Walker. He's still around every now and then. He was in a movie that was on last night. I didn't watch it. It was directed by John Stockwell, one of my very favorite people in the history of mankind, who's probably really old and ugly now. Anyway, the deal in recent years paid Cruise and Wagner up to... Cruise's partner, Paul Wagner, said negotiations on a new contract simply fizzled. The deal in recent years paid Cruise and Wagner up to $10 million a year to develop films and operate an orifice on the Paramount lot. It was reported that Cruise and the studio had been discussing a less lucrative deal. The studio had offered the pair $2 million a year, plus $500,000 discretionary fund during each of the next 2 years, according to the L.A. Times yesterday. It cited sources with knowledge of the talks who didn't want to be named because of the sensitivity of the matter. In the past year or so, the usually guarded actor came under intense scrutiny.
You fairy.
After he jumped up. See, let me say this to you right now. The difference to me between really biting satire and comedy that really is hysterical,
Excuse me, but I do believe that sucks ass.
See, that's South Park, as opposed to The Daily Show, which is attempting to be really biting and humorous, and about 90% of the time misses its mark. See what I'm saying? South Park never misses the mark.
No, and they don't pull any punches either.
That's correct. They don't come on there and pretend that they're going to say something biting and scathing. They rip ass, even if it's Oprah's. Don't go there now, please.
Girlfriend.
It's a mess. In the past year or so, the usually guarded actor came under intense scrutiny after he jumped up and down on Oprah Winfrey's couch. My God, everywhere you look, whether it's on South Park, she's just everywhere.
Oprah.
Yeah. While proclaiming his love for Katie Holmes, openly advocating Scientology, criticizing Brooke Shields for taking prescription drugs to treat postpartum depression. I'd like to see, ¿Quién es más macho, Brooke Shields or Tom Cruise? She could probably kick his ass, man.
Crush him. He's like 5'7" anyway.
She could just sit on him. The religion, of course, founded by science fiction writer L. Ron Hubbard, opposes psychiatry and its medication. It's a closet. Redstone estimated that Cruise's off-screen behavior cost his latest movie, Mission Impossible 3, $100 to $150 million in ticket sales, even as he praised the film as the best of the three movies. I wouldn't watch it if you paid me by the second. If you gave me a machine that played on every pull, I still wouldn't do it. It's nothing to do with his acting ability. He's a terrific actor, Redstone said, but we don't think that someone who effectuates creative suicide and costs the company revenue should be on the line. I love that line, who effectuates creative suicide. Wagner told the AP that agents for Cruise Wagner Productions stopped negotiating with Paramount over a week ago and have since secured independent financing, effectively taking any contract renewal deal off the table. For some reason, Paramount has chosen to negotiate in the press, Wagner said, calling Redstone's announcement surprising. It's not really the most businesslike approach, he said, and we've had virtually no dealings with Mr. Redstone. Each of the actors' last 7 films have generated more than $100 million, and the collaboration between Paramount and Cruise Wagner Productions, based on the Paramount lot since '92, has produced $2.5 billion worth of business. Wagner said she and Cruise have been considering independent financing for their company for a long time. She said the company's already obtained commitments from 2 hedge funds whose name would be announced soon. For us, this is a new and exciting direction, she said. We look forward to working with all the studios, and we don't believe her. We think that he got dumped. Don't you think he got a dump?
There's no question.
Yeah. They dumped you, Tommy. Hey, Tommy.
You fairy.
1,103, not bad. 1,103 people have checked in. George says that translates to 88,000 people listening right now.
5 million people.
And let's look on the bottom there. South America still solamente uno. Asia 2. Not too big in those outlying far. But once they discover the pull man, once the word gets around the pipe, the grapevine, and Ben Harper is going to be singing it.
This is Neil Rogers.
All right.
This is 560 QAM.
This is Dick Cheney. I like to relax by having Mary Magdalene massage my balls while listening to the Neil Rogers 12 to 1 hour.
Celebrity Justice.
Dick, what happened?
The group of us had hunted all day on Saturday. Saw Harry standing there. He was dressed in orange. I turned and shot at Harry. He was struck in the right side of his face, and he was, I'm sure, stunned, obviously.
You think?
It's the first time I'd ever hunted Harry.
What?
It was not Harry's fault.
I guess not.
The other hunter and I then, we were hunting quail and walked about 100 yards in another direction. Each of us got a bird.
You guys continued to hunt?
Exactly, that's what we did.
What was Harry doing?
Bleeding, obviously.
What were you thinking?
I have no idea. Celebrity Justice.
All right.
Absolutely.
Shrill broads on there. Remember I was talking about that on Tuesday? Bitchy shrill broads from the Nancy Grace School.
It's a requirement now.
Thank you, Fran. Anyway, it's 12:08. I haven't even given the lineup for today. We're so who cares about today and tomorrow, right? Let's just from now, let's just erase it, right?
Oh, come on.
And let's move on till Monday. No, seriously, because we got to move on to we got bigger fish to fry come Monday. Let's see, tomorrow morning, Geldy's back on again. Well,
all of these things.
That's not good. Curtis Stevenson, 2 to 4 this afternoon. Mad Dog from Conine's Clubhouse Grill. That ought to be a thrill between 4 and 7. Why is there an asterisk on that?
That's a revision.
So you've got to put an asterisk next to it? What an idiot.
That's to let you know that
Clarence,
this is a
real
change.
idiot.
This has been changed.
Hurricane Hotline at GameWorks 7 to 9. The Beast at GameWorks 9 to 10. The Beast is on the air. What does that tell you? Eddie K at 10. No ball game today. What did I tell you, Josh, about the Marlins would sweep the Nats?
Yeah, and they did.
Although that final score there, man, I looked, it was 9 to 2, and all of a sudden I see the final is 9 to 7.
Yeah, it got a little scary there.
Kevin. Yeah, not good. But they swept the Nats, and like I also told you, if you took all the wins out of the win column against the Nats and the Pirates, they'd be like 700 games under 500.
Yes.
And speaking of marginal teams, boy, the Brewers coming to town tomorrow night. Wow. There should be one hell of a sit-down audience for that, you know?
I'm guessing like 600
people, six to seven people who got lost somewhere on the turnpike, made a bad right turn there. Oh, we're at the stadium. Might as well go see a ball game. What section you want? So the Marlins play, and they're only, I believe, 6 games under 500 now. Am I right about that?
Yes, you are. 5.5 back.
Woo! 5.5 out of the wild card. That is pathetic. Although they do have 422 teams ahead of them between them and the Reds. Washburn, Missouri. The minister of a rural Ozarks church, his wife, and her 2 brothers have been accused of molesting young girls from their congregation for years, sometimes as part of religious ritual, officials said. Oh, yeah. Give me that good old-time religion. It makes me dance in my pants. The county prosecutor says the Reverend Raymond Lambert, 51. I wonder if he's related to Bill Lambertus, the old harness driver. Raymond Lambert. I wonder if he's kin to Curly Lambert. He was a horse at Suffolk Downs in Rockingham Park. Curly Lambert. I believe driven by Tug Boyd or Bucky Day. How'd you get me off on that again?
Sorry.
Tugboat Annie. The county prosecutor said the Reverend Raymond Lambert, 51, of Grand Valley Independent Baptist Church, repeatedly had sex with 2 underage girls.
Oh, my God.
With the help of his 49-year-old wife, Patty, according to court records.
She helped?
She helped. She gave a helping hand. He gave a helping gland, and she gave a helping hand. For 10 years, the pastor told the girls, we're preparing your body for the service to God, the prosecutor said.
I think of this.
Oh, no. How do you like that? How come they can't prepare some choice people for service to...
Oh, God!
Well, I guess they have recently, but probably not enough. Never enough. Patty, when you're a pervert. Patty Lambert's brothers, Paul Epling, 53, and Tom Epling, 51, are each accused of repeatedly having sex with girls as young as the age of 4 in the late 70s and early 80s.
Okay.
The minister of a rural Ozarks church in Washburn, Missouri. This is his family. All 4 defendants face molested and sodomy charges. What did I say? Molested. The attorney said they denied the allegations. All 4 turned themselves in Monday, were released on bond. A preliminary hearing scheduled October the 2nd to see whether formal charges will be filed, or maybe just informal. Lambert's church is on a property owned by the Epling brothers and houses up to 100 people on a 100-acre farm in western McDonald County. They refer to it as a compound, Sheriff's Deputy Michael LeSueur said. The compound is behind a gate-marked Grand Valley Farm on a gravel road about 13 miles west of the small town of Washburn. This kind of sounds like what's going on in Aintree, or maybe just what was going on up there in the woods with Ned Beatty. The gate was barred with no trespassing signs on Wednesday, and attorney Robert W. Evanson said the 4 would not speak to reporters. This is a matter of facts for the court, not public opinion, he said. They just want to keep it in the family, I guess. And as Susan Sarandon would say, Susan, what's her name? Not Susan Sarandon, Sigourney Weaver would say, nice trailer. Where the hell did I get Susan Sarandon from?
I don't know.
Too much of that left-wing propaganda, I guess, on this show.
Her and Tim Robbins.
That's what happened when I read that article by Noam Chomsky. See, they can't accuse him of being anti-Semitic. There's no more Jewish than Noam Chomsky, I'll tell you that, especially with a name like that. The only way it could be any more Jewish if they called him Chamsky. You know what I'm saying?
I see.
As in Chazarai.
Sounds like a Ruski to me.
As in, speaking of Chazarai.
There you see Mel Gibson.
There you see Mel Gibson. All I could say is,
We'll see him no more.
12:13 at 560 WQM. All the tribes, all the Bubba Meises, all the Getchkis all the time. Like I've always told you, it's a war of headgear, man. Who's got the best headgear? Is it the Orthodox Jews? Is it the Muslims? Is it the, who else has got? Is it the Catholic bishops and the Pope? Is it the priests? Huh? It's the poor young kids being schlepped to Hebrew school to study their bar mitzvah mafia so they can go and say, today I am a fountain pen, or whatever the hell they say. Bunch of crap, man. All you kids out there, when your parents try to indoctrinate you with this garbage, just tell them, cut the crap. That's it. 12:13 at QAM. Stogies continues to be South Florida's top cigar shop with one of the broadest inventories containing an outstanding selection of over 1,000 open boxes of cigars. All the top names that all cigar connoisseurs know and love, like Perdomo, Ashton VSG, Arturo Fuente, Padron, Monte Cristo, Romeo and Juliet, and lots more waiting for you at Stogies. Also, on top of that, not just your everyday names, but special hard-to-find and obscure cigars that you won't find anyplace else are waiting for you right there in the shop. Buy your premium cigars for the price of seconds and stick around a while and enjoy your smooth smoke at Stogie's Wine Lounge, featuring Pierre Andre, 100% Pinot Noir. Even John Mark, whatever his car, didn't get to drink that on the Thai Airlines plane. Pierre Andre. And many other fine wines from around the world. How is the duck, John? Don't choke on the duck. That's awfully fatty, man. Stogie's is located at 11612 North Kendall Drive, just a half mile east of it. Can you imagine his cholesterol went zooming up after that flight? Stogie's is at 11612 North Kendall Drive, just a half mile east of exit 20 off the Turnpike. Open every day, 7 days a week for your smoking and dining and dancing pleasure. Call today to reserve a box of your favorite cigars at Stogie's. They got them if you want them. 305-598-9820. And when you stop into the shop, be sure and say hi to Mary and the girls, Sandra and Heather, and they'll give you a free one and a cigar, too. That's Stogie's at 11612 North Kendall Drive, 305-598-9820.
This is Neil Rogers. This is 560 QAM.
What the Q's for in QAM? Where have the Fox reporters gone? Yay, they kidnapped them. Where have the Fox reporters gone? Somewhere in lesbian non. Have the rest of the neocons. Help yourself to more than one. I hope they don't return. Traitors like them should only burn. Maybe they'll kidnap her dog. Corn-studded Nazi church. Nab them all until they're gone. And smack their asses down. These abducts more box news face. And wipe that smugness off their face. And culture's got to go. And don't forget Geraldo. Big shots when they're here at home. Spewing propaganda. Now they know what the ground troops know. To see real war afloat. The world would be a safer place if you take them all away. Thank you, and by the way, Bill O'Reilly. Hey!
Now, how come they can't kidnap his ass and Ricky Tiki Sanchez and Wolf Blitzkrieg while they're at it? Guess what? I got some bad news for all you astronomers out there. They had a wild time about this. I guess they had a big contretemps about this at the meeting of the International Astronomical Union in Prague. Probably a lot of drugs. Leading astronomers declared finally today that Pluto is no longer a planet.
Oh, my God.
Under historic new... So if your teacher, all your kids out there, if your teacher is teaching you that in science class that Pluto is the 9th planet, just blow their crap away, man.
Now we got to go change that mobile on the ceiling?
Under historic new guidelines that downsize the solar system from 9 planets to 8.
Oh, I don't accept that. I do not recognize that.
Once upon a time, there were 9. And now there are 8.
Boy,
how do you like that?
Got to burn those textbooks. I'm not buying that.
Oh, no.
Come on,
my
grandfather
finger almost slipped off. After a tumultuous week of clashing over the essence of the cosmos, the International Astronomical Union stripped Pluto of the planetary status it's held since its discovery in 1930. The new definition of what is and is not a planet fills a centuries-old black hole for scientists who have labored since Copernicus without one. Copernicus, for Christ's sakes. What's wrong with you, you idiot? Although astronomers applauded after the vote, Jocelyn Bell Burnell, a specialist in neutron... You know, there's only one Jocelyn that I ever heard of in my life before that. Jocelyn. You know who that was?
Mm-hmm. Elders.
Hi, this is Jocelyn Elders.
Yeah, her. Remember her?
Yes, I do. Miss her.
I can't play that bit, of course.
No, I know.
You want to play it?
Pickle.
Anyway, although... See, I knocked you off. I couldn't hear you.
I'll play it tomorrow.
Oh. Jocelyn Joyce Burnell, whatever her name is, a specialist in neutron stars from Northern Ireland who oversaw the proceedings, urged those who might be quite disappointed to look on the bright side. Always look on the bright side, she's saying. It could be argued that we're creating an umbrella called planet under which the dwarf planets exist, she said, drawing laughter by waving a stuffed Pluto of Walt Disney fame beneath the real umbrella. Oh, my God. Obviously, this was a bunch of real intellectuals. The only one missing was...
Eisner?
Yeah. The decision by the prestigious international group spells out the basic tests that celestial objects will have to meet before they can be considered for admission to the elite cosmic club. For now, membership will be restricted to the... Well, it's got them here. Like I need to read them to you. Much maligned Pluto doesn't make the grade out of the new rules for a planet which is defined as a celestial body that is in orbit around the sun, has sufficient mass for its self-gravity to overcome rigid body forces so that it assumes a nearly round shape, and has cleared the neighborhood around its orbit. Pluto is automatically disqualified because its orbit, its oblong orbit overlaps with Neptune. How do you like that?
Mm-hmm.
Instead, it'll be reclassified a new category of dwarf planets. Oh, what a dwarf. Similar to what long have been termed minor planets. Oh, yeah. Maybe we can get the Pluto people on Survivor.
The Plutonians?
After we get the... What are they going to do? Are we going to have some mulatto people on there, too? Now, whose side are they going to be taking? The mulatto
well,
crowd.
Depends on what language they speak, I reckon.
I see. And we certainly got to get some beaners on there so you can get all worked up.
They got them.
1,150 people have choked it and checked in on our website, NeilRogers.com. And still, I guess we've exhausted all the people from, like, all those exotic places, you know, like Dayton Broward. Okay, it's almost 12:30 already, and you haven't even... I've only got... How many stories here?
About 30, man.
I'm John Carr, Mark, yeah. We don't want... But I got more important stuff first. I'll save that for a minute, okay? I got some really heavy, interesting stuff here. You might be amazed. In fact, Beloit, Wisconsin... Ever hear of Beloit College?
No.
Well, you did now, in Beloit, Wisconsin. They did a survey, and they've got a thing... where is it? Born in 87, the freshman attending the first college lectures around the country grew up with pay-per-view TV. It's got like all these different things that anybody born in 87, who are today's college students, 19, never saw or experienced or knew or like that. How do you like that? Like freedom, things like that. Free speech. Here's what I'm sure Josh has been all over, like Stink on Greg, like Stink on Joyce. Hempstead, New York, Long Island. Jets running back Kevin Barlow apologized to 49ers coach Mike Nolan for comparing him to Adolf Hitler in a newspaper interview. You see that story?
Because you sent it, yeah.
Oh, that's right. You see how educated you're becoming? Pretty soon you'll be talking about getting a cup fatigue from getting too many stories.
Hey, are you seeing the same commercial I am for Geico right now? There's that guy. That's that announcer guy, the movie guy. Too late.
We missed it. Well, you should have interrupted me sooner. I never saw that one before.
Next time.
Well, Geico, I'm telling you.
In a world.
I would get their insurance just because I like their spots.
I would get their insurance if they stopped using that lizard.
It's not a lizard. What is wrong with you? It's a gecko, man.
I hate the gecko.
Oh. He'll sit with the kids. Barlow, who was traded from San Francisco to New York on Sunday. I don't like that British thing, man, that British accent. Oh, God. Well, mate. Barlow, who was traded from San Francisco to New York on Sunday for a fourth-round pick, made his inflammatory comments to the Contra Costa Times in Wednesday's editions. Jets coach Eric Magnini said yesterday he has spoken with Barlow, and the player is sorry. Everybody's always apologizing. You know, they blurt out a bunch of evil crap like macaca, you know?
You're what?
Right? Macaca in Virginia. You see George Allen call that guy?
What's that video?
Yeah, macaca, because he's got that mohawk haircut. I personally think that George Allen is probably,
John Killer.
if you ask me, probably knows Defoe. Getting back to Barlow, went to high school with a kid named Bruce Barlow. I thought his comments were inappropriate, Magnini said. After he said it, he wished he could have those words back, but he can't. Kevin has already called Coach Nolan to talk to him about that, which I think is important. Barlow was upset with the trade, mainly because Nolan assured him he wouldn't be dealt. He told the newspaper Nolan was a first-time head coach with too much power. He walks around with a chip on his shoulder like he's a dictator, like he's Hitler, Barlow said. People are scared of him. If it ain't Nolan's way, it's the highway. How do you like that? For getting a little bit over the top. And you know what Nolan said?
It's a lie. I am not a Nazi.
That's what he said. Okay. Get to that John Mark Carr. Got 400 stories about him, including, did you know that he ran a... Where is that story? Where the hell is it? He ran a thing in his house. Oh, don't tell me I don't have that one. I better print it out again. He ran a daycare center in Alabama. Do you know that?
I did not.
Wouldn't you think he'd be the kind of a guy that would be perfect for that?
Like John Wayne Gacy,
about little girls.
Oh,
I just got 6,000 stories. Because let's face it, who the hell cares about Israel or Lesbianon or about Iraq or about Afghanistan or Iran as fast as I can or stuff like that, you know? Nobody wants to be so newsy. We got John...
Lock up L.A. County. Then at 11, Scott Peterson's sister tells what it's really like to have a killer in the family.
Oh, there you go. All right. You think that's good? Wait till you hear this from Calpulalpan, Mexico. Calpulalpan, Mexico. Skeletons found at an unearthed site in Mexico show Aztecs captured, ritually sacrificed, and partially ate several hundred people traveling with invaded Spanish forces in 1520. Skull and bones from the Tacate archaeological site near Mexico City show about 550 victims had their hearts ripped out by Aztec priests in ritual offerings and were dismembered or had their bones boiled or scraped clean. Oh, there's nothing like scraping your bones clean before you start macking on those guys. The findings support accounts of Aztecs capturing and killing a caravan of Spanish conquistadors and local men. I love that song by Procol Harum. Conquistador. Women and children traveling with them in revenge for the murder of Kakamu.
A lot of Kaka on the show today.
Kakamatsin, king of the Aztec Empire's #2 city of Texcoco. Texaco. Oh, yeah. You can be the man with the Texaco star, the Milton Berle show. Experts say the discovery proves some Aztecs did resist the conquistadors led by explorer Hernan Cortez, even though history books say most welcomed the white-skinned horsemen in the belief they were returning Aztec gods. Oh, of course. So there you go. They skinned them and they ate them and they boned them and they deloused them, stuff like that.
This is Neil Rogers. All of these things. This is 560 QAM.
This is Rush Limbaugh, servant of humanity, talk show host, hemorrhoid sufferer. Folks at over 300 pounds, I know the agony of this kind of dilemma. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here to tell you there's help. With new Preparation Rush and my Rush to Excellence suppositories. Now you can end the pain and itching of hemorrhoidal tissue. Just look for my picture on the box of suppositories and the applicator tube. Another fine product from OIB, the Obesity in Broadcasting Network.
Tube. Tonight on Fox, lock up the bagels and cream cheese and prepare for a wild ride when Fox presents When Jews Attack, sponsored by the Committee to Elect George W. Bush and by KFC, where you can get the new GOP bucket. The GOP bucket is all white meat, right wings, and only $29.95. When Jews Attack, tonight on Fox.
Well, this is a long story, this Rush Limbaugh story that you faxed me the first page of.
Yes, I didn't fax you the second page.
Holy
you could
moly.
research it further if you wished.
No, I just printed it out. The original, which is much bigger print, much easier to read, and the whole thing. I mean, who just wants a little piece of Rush?
Oh, boy.
On August 23rd broadcast, that's yesterday, of his nationally syndicated radio program, Rush Limbaugh suggested that the competition in the new CBS reality TV program Survivor, in which contestants are reportedly going to be divided into competing tribes by ethnicity, is not going to be fair if there's a lot of water events. In support of this assertion, he said in a March 2nd Healthy article reporting that young blacks, especially males, are much more likely to drown in pools than whites. During the program, Limbaugh suggested that people at CBS are scratching their heads and asking whether the swimming portion of the new Survivor competition is going to be fair. When pressed by an African-American caller to identify which team would be the worst swimmers and why, Limbaugh stated that the white tribe would be the best swimmers based on the performance of white athletes at the Olympics. After apparently disconnecting or cutting the volume level of the caller, Limbaugh said, "You're saying I'm being racist because I'm saying blacks can't swim." He further protested, "I mentioned the swimming contest only because it's not going to be fair if there's a lot of water competition in this. It just isn't. It's not a racist comment at all." In support of his assertion that his comments were not racist, Limbaugh cited a March 2nd Healthy article reporting that young blacks, especially males, are much more likely to drown in pools than whites. But the study on which the Healthy article was based did not address the swimming abilities of African Americans in general. Healthy reported that researchers don't know why black kids are at high risk of drowning, that most of the black drowning victims drowned in public pools, and the study didn't examine whether the victims had taken swimming lessons or whether the pools were supervised by lifeguards. Additionally, the article noted that according to the study, people from poorer families were more likely to drown regardless of race, and that one author of the study suggested future research will be done to examine swimming instruction, whether it reduces the risk of drowning. Oh, yeah, let's spend a few $1 million to do a study on that. Regarding the new Survivor Series, Limbaugh also stated that there are many characteristics that you think would give the African-American tribe the lead and the heads-up in terms of skill and athleticism and so forth. He's not a racist, you understand. Just ask Donovan McNabb, he'll tell you. Just ask the people at ABC. He also stated, oh, by the way, how did your boy do on Monday night, Josh?
I'm sorry?
On Monday Night Football.
Who are we talking about here?
The new analyst.
Which one? There's 3 of them.
No, the new analyst on whatever his name is.
Tony Kornheiser?
Tony Cornholer.
He seems a little lost so far.
No. He also stated that our early money is on the Hispanic tribe, which he said could include a Cuban or Nicaraguan or a Mexican or two, provided they don't start fighting for supremacy amongst themselves. Oh, he must have had George in mind when he mentioned that. He knows his Julios.
Huh?
Limbaugh added that Hispanics have probably shown the most survival tactics, that they've shown a remarkable ability to get cross borders, and they can do it without water for a long time. They don't get apprehended. They'll do things other people won't. He also asserted that the Asian American tribe, whom he called the brainiacs of the bunch, probably will outsmart everybody, but while intelligence is one thing, raw native understanding of the land, this is probably why the Native Americans were excluded, because they were at one with the land, and they'd probably have an unfair advantage. I know what Rush is.
John Killer.
He added that the white tribe, if it behaves as historically as it has, will bring along vials of diseases and will wind up oppressing the other tribes by denying them benefits and property, but will later try to put the other tribes in some kind of benefit program. Why did you even send that to me? And why did I look it up and get the whole story? There's much more to it. There's much more to it.
Oh, I know.
But why would we want to talk about that? Oh.
Beaten every single week. What's the conversation in this country going to be like?
That is my concern. I can see the headlines now. Oh, we knew that
Survival
this was
will
a
have
superior
white, black,
race, or we
Hispanic,
knew
and Asian
that was a weaker
tribalism.
race. I mean, I'm very concerned about the assumptions that are going to be made from what we see in this competition, and I'm also concerned about what will come out.
What are you trying to say, honey?
I have no line.
Yeah, this should be. Let me say, this should be your biggest problem, right?
Yeah.
Survivor
exactly.
my ass. Now let's get to the important stuff, to the meat of the matter. This is what the whole audience is sitting on the edge of their seats. Quit beating around the bush, okay? Quit with all the BS and all the protest song and all this other crap. Let's get to John Carr, whatever his name is. Deborah Kerr. John Mark Carr bragged to his landlord's family that sexually I am like a wolf, and said he preferred girls to women when he worked in Costa Rica as an English teacher. His former housemates told the A&P. Oh, I still didn't print out that story about he had a daycare center in Alabama. I'll do it. Because I got 6,000 John Carr stories. Isn't that what we're supposed to be talking about? Survivor and John Carr?
Oh, yeah.
Carr
that's all that matters.
Traveled around the world in recent years, including brief stays in Honduras and Costa Rica. Oh, no. There's no little girls having sex in Costa Rica, are there? Where he rented a room in 2004 from Canadian John Hall, who teaches at a private university in the capital of San Jose. Do you know the way to San Jose?
That way.
Hall 42 told AP in an exclusive interview that he rented a room to Carr through an internet posting, but asked him to leave after about 5 weeks because Carr was saying rude and inappropriate things to his Costa Rican wife and stepdaughters, then 16 and 20. I threw him out because he was causing problems for them, Hall said. One stepdaughter, now 22, told AP that Carr said several times he liked girls. Not like, girls, like young girls, like little. My mother asked him whether he was looking for a girlfriend in Costa Rica. He answered he didn't like adult women, only small ones, she said, speaking on condition her name not be used. I thought he meant young women, never mind he meant girls, as in like little girls. During his stay with the family, Carr would often either talk incessantly or sit in his room and listen to dark rock music like that of Marilyn Manson, something that also bothered the Halls, who are Pentecostal Christians. Oh, Marilyn Manson, there he goes again, you see it? Told you.
He's all over the place, devil worshiper.
My God, he's responsible for everything. All the abortions, you name it. That's what Michael Moore taught us. Remember that? He was in the movie, Marilyn? Oh, they're just foaming at the mouth about
They look like they've succeeded because here we are talking about it.
Yeah, here we are talking about it, even though it's one of the most stupid things. I'd rather hear about John and Mark Carr than about stinking Survivor. I've never watched that show?
You didn't miss much.
Oh. 1,185 people have checked in. That's pretty weak, if you ask me. We should have 1,300 by 2 o'clock, or I'm going to be pretty PO'd. I'm going to be pretty cheesed off. Where are you usually when you listen to the Neil Rogers Show, either on air or on the Internet? Broward, 352. Dade, 281. Palm Beach, 161. You see that? Overwhelming Dade, Broward, and Palm Beach. You're listening on the radio. A lot of those people could be listening online, too, though, like I said. If they're like in a building, it's got like anywhere in the building got like a fluorescent light in it, they can't hear this station. It's like that. So they're listening online. That's why when we lose the thing, we go down, the thing goes down. Boy, they get wild, man. They go nuts. Florida outside of Dade, Broward, and Palm Beach, 149. That's not bad. U.S. outside of Florida, 120. I don't listen to 40. In outer space, 35. Please. I hate this poll, 15. Canada, 10. Mexico, 5. Africa, 4. Where do you think that is? In Zaire?
Okay. Maybe
Central America,
Ghana.
4. Well, they probably have a tinfoil antenna.
Zimbabwe.
Central America, 4. Australia, 2. We got 2 down under. Should we put New Zealand on there, too? Well, why not?
Sure.
It's not a... It's, huh?
Sure, why not? I
It's
like
a
New
separate
Zealand.
place.
Yes, it is.
We got a pair in the Middle East, a Jew and a Lesbianese, or maybe just an Arab and a Jew. Asia, 2, and South America, still only 1. Probably in Paraguay.
This is Neil
Probably in
Rogers.
Ascension. Like Jesus.
This is 560 QAM.
David's a bitch.
Now, see here. I ain't never said no. I get very annoyed about these saying doy. I ain't never said it. But they continue to say that I doy, that they ought to pay me by the I'm getting tired of hearing it everywhere I go.
You always say doy.
Don't say doy. From this one on, I'm willing to leave on my
Anyway, I'm just looking up on IMDb that movie, The Neighbor, with Rod Steiger and Linda Kozlowski.
Oh, how about that?
You know who that is?
Yes, I do. Mrs. Hulk Hogan for a while, anyway.
Well, how do you like
Not
that?
Hulk Hogan,
she was
sorry.
married to
Paul Hogan.
Dog the Bounty Hunter?
No, Paul Hogan, the other one, the Aussie.
John Hogan, the driver?
Yeah.
Of sorts. Linda Kozlowski is in there with Rod Steiger and Ron Lee and Benjamin Sherinian, or somebody like that, and a bunch of other people nobody ever heard of. It's a pretty good flick. Now, it only gets on IMDb 5.4 out of 10. It's better than that. And then, of course, the first review here, it gives it 10 out of 10. Great acting by Rod Steiger. And Rod Steiger in that movie, which he's mostly bald at this point, which I guess he was the last 40 years of his life. And he looks, if he don't look like old Chicken Neck, Boca Brian, with like, it's just amazing. Just watch the movie and you'll see, hey, that's Chicken Neck. You never seen it though, huh?
No. Not that I recall. It really sounds familiar.
I might have to send that to you too, boy. You better stash away some time there, or just
lock
stash away your
myself in.
stash.
I'm married. I don't have much to do.
No comment. That you want to do.
Right.
The man suspected of killing 60-year-old John Bonet kept children at a home daycare center he operated in northwest Alabama, the state welfare agency said today. Hamilton, Alabama. Oh, that sounds like your kind of place. If you love North Carolina, you're going to love Hamilton, Alabama. You ever driven through Alabama?
No, I can't say that I have.
I have, real fast.
Never been there. I don't think
Driven
I've
through
ever flown
Alabama,
over it.
Mississippi, and the Panhandle. I got a handle on it. The Marion County Department of Human Resources issued a license for John Marquardt to begin operating a daycare out of his rural home in June '97, said John Bradford, a spokesman with the Alabama Department of Human Resources. He said the Sheriff's Department conducted a background check before the license was issued. No problems were found in it. Carr didn't receive any complaints before the 2-year license expired in '99. We do know he kept children, but it's really hard to get a handle on the number, he said. It's kind of hard to get a handle on the children. Carr, 41, bada beep, bada boop. He was living with his ex-wife in Hamilton at the time of the murder. Carr, who was working as a teacher, was arrested. We know that. He's agreed, bada beep, bada boop, anything else. No. So he had a daycare center in Hamilton, Alabama. Just little pieces of the puzzle, all you Sherlock Holmeses out there, all you detectives trying to put this together. Isn't that what they're doing?
Yes, they are.
I'd much rather spend my time watching those lectures by Noam Chomsky now that I've become a real intellectual old fag. But I'll send those to you, those videos. I'm gonna get those. And also The Neighbor with Rod Steiger. How do you like that? I think
great.
Josh would like The Neighbor.
Is that right? I'll let you know.
Yeah.
Anybody get naked in it, like Linda Kozlowski?
I don't remember. I know he has her like spread eagle out there. He's trying to kill her baby. Well, I'm not gonna.
Oh yeah, don't ruin it.
Well, he's trying to kill her baby. Okay. He's got this anti-baby thing, man. He's got a problem with that because he was in love with his mama, and mama died.
I see.
Mama said there'd be days like that. A well-known national handwriting expert said Monday he is 99.9% certain that John Mark Carr wrote the ransom note found near the scene of John Benet Ramsey's body.
Oh, my God.
Most guys are writing the fence, said Kurt Baggett. Hey, Kurt Baggett, the Texas-based co-founder of the School of Forensic Document Examination. I wonder if he's related to Jack Baggett, Jr. But there are at least a dozen traits that match up perfectly when comparing a high school yearbook signed by Carr and the ransom note. At least a dozen traits that match up perfectly. Did you hear that?
I heard.
Some of those traits are fairly common. Others are rare, he said. There are so many similarities that it pushes the odds up into the 7 digits. To put it another way, Baggett said the chances are 1,000,000 to 1 that somebody other than Carr wrote the ransom note. Did you get that?
I got it.
SBTC. LSMO, what is it? Lucky Strike, MFT. Means fine tobacco. Let's start playing some cigarette spots. That'll piss everybody off. For Newports in Salem. It's like a spring forest, man. Anyway, the issue of handwriting could be critical if DNA evidence in the 10-year-old case proves inconclusive. What might most connect the killer of the scene is the ransom note. Other experts are less certain than Baggett about the note's origin, and they expect competing testimony should the case ever go to trial. Handwriting expert Peggy Walla, also from Texas, I bet you she's from Walla Walla, said the issue is burning up the Internet as experts write back and forth. I wonder if she knows David Seville. Because remember what the witch doctor said? Ting, tang, walla, walla, bing, bang. Remember that?
Coming right up.
You got The Witch Doctor by David Seville on Liberty Records. And you know who else was on Liberty Records? Speaking of John Mark Carr and his attorneys? Patience and Prudence.
Prudence. I don't have The Witch Doctor.
And what's the story with those two lady lawyers? I know that one of them was his attorney in 2001. You see that?
Yes.
I don't know whether it was Patience or Prudence. There are groups of us that are working on this internationally, she said, meaning handwriting experts. We have little arguments like, no, I don't see this, I see that. Wallace said she studied under Baggett, that he's regarded as one of the nation's top handwriting authorities. He said he's provided expert testimony in court cases in all 50 states. Boulder police almost immediately suspected John and Patsy Ramsey, yada, yada. Experts ruled out Ramsey as the writer of the note, but some questions remain concerning Patsy because of the handwriting. Remember that? They thought it was her handwriting? Mm-hmm. But she was just a Patsy. Lining up behind Baggett in his assessment is his son, Bart Baggett, who is president of Handwriting University, an organization that trains and certifies handwriting experts. Isn't that a great name? Bart Baggett.
Mm-hmm.
There are a lot of similarities, Bart Baggett said from his office in L.A., quite a few, actually. Significant similarities. When I saw the yearbook, he says, it was shocking. It was wow. The similarities are more than just a chance in your pants. I would definitely lean toward Carr being the author of this note. Still, he said he'd like to see originals, a lot more samples from Carr before sticking his head out too far, like a turtle, like an uncircumcised Latin American. We do most of our business by facts, he said. Usually you can tell, but in this case there's so much weighing on it, it would be great to get more samples. So what does that tell us? It tells us that the most well-believed guy, what's the guy's name? Jack Baggett Jr., Kurt Baggett. He says the chances are a million. So it goes to show you what kind of a science it is, huh? If the one guy says chances are 1,000,000 to 1 that it could be somebody else, and then the other people are saying, well, bada beep, bada boop, like that, right? Just like that. God. How are we doing on our survey, by the way? 1200-1234. Have you ever seen that number on there before? Take a look at it now. Read it and weep.
Look at now.
1234. 1230. You don't have that?
I have 1229.
Get out of here. Refresh it, you idiot.
Refreshing.
What do you got?
A slow connection.
Obviously.
1235.
Ah, you missed it.
I
See?
did.
God is punishing you for hating Mexicans, man.
Print screen.
For all those disgusting things you said about Mexicans. I can't believe it. I hope that the Mexican-American Foundation comes there and pees on your tortillas. You know something? That taco thing sounds really good again. I'm not having one more than pasta, man. Where are you usually when you listen to the Neil Rogers Show, either at home or online or on the air or in the air? Broward 365, Dade 289. There's not that much of a disparity there as we used to think, right? We used to think, oh, the whole audience is in Broward, right? Everybody listening to this show is in. We got a few people in Dade, a few Dade heads. Palm Beach 169. Well, I bet you the Sun Sentinel's proud of that because they're obsessed with Palm Beach. It's supposed to be a Broward County newspaper, but all they know from is Palm Beach this and Palm Beach that. And by the way, Sun Sentinel, they hate you in Palm Beach. They like the Post. Florida outside of the Tri-County, 152. Maybe we got some people in Monroe County, you think?
It's possible.
They can hear it. They can hear it on the air.
Bounce.
I missed the day when we were on that Key West station, the one that where the tower had fallen down.
Those were the days.
That was IOD, man. That was Cox Broadcasting for you. We're going to really give you some a real shot in the arm, Neil, some real promotion. We're simulcasting your show on a Key West station. Now, there is a little problem. There was a big storm there, and the tower is laying in a prone position flat on the ground, so nobody can hear it. But, boy, it's going to be great when you're on. You'll be the best in Key West. USA outside of Florida, 128. I don't listen 43. They just schmooze on our website, vote on the poll, and generally are a nuisance. In outer space, 37. I hate this poll, 15. Canada, 10, which means me and 9. Europe, 6. All right. Maybe they're listening in the Internet Cafe in the Dam Rack. Only there's no speakers there. How do you like that? On the Dam Rack. You ever been in that Dam Square?
Not lately.
Well, why don't you go to Amsterdam? Get off your ass before you croak.
Yeah.
Mexico, 5. Josh, listen, if Josh can afford that HD big screen TV, he can afford to take you guys to Amsterdam, where you'll be safe.
How about it, Josh?
Or maybe he'll take you to Louis in the Bronx. Mexico, 5. Africa, 4. Oh, that is amazing. Central America, 4. I bet you we're bigger than Honduras, man. You think? Maybe it's in Costa Rica. Maybe some of them are perverts down there in Costa Rica are listening. Australia, 2. 2 in the Middle East. A Jew and a Gentile, obviously. Asia, 2. South America, 1. And New Zealand, none so far. Everything in the Middle East has got to have at least one Jew and at least one Gentile.
This is Neil Rogers.
Or maybe the 2 Semites.
This is 560
Will do.
QAM.
It's the 1 to 2 hour. Hi, Vay.
The cops pulled over now. The cops pulled over now. One of the cops said, "Is that alcohol I smell?" And when they'll answer yes, "I'm kind of drunk, I guess." That's when he had to take a breathalyzer test. Into a tube Mel blew. He blew a .12. That's when he stopped and asked the cop, "Are you a Jew? 'Cause if you are a Jew, I don't think I like you." Hitler had the right idea in 1932. So now Mel's feeling bad. He'll check into rehab. But if he wants a ride there, he will have to call a cab. Hey, Mr. Mel Gibson. Hi.
Okay, 103 at 560 WQAM. 1249 have checked in there on our survey. We can get to that 1300 by 1 o'clock. That'll put a real feather in our crap, won't it?
Sure,
That'll
why
be
not?
Great. That'll be outstanding. And it is mild, like Lucky Strike means fine tobacco. How about those cancer sticks, Camels? I'd walk a mile for a Camel.
Would you?
No. Carr's mother tried to kill him, family friend says. Oh, and speaking of John Mark Carr.
Attention of the Boulder DA, and that was Professor.
Oh! And you wonder why the public is dumber than sawdust, dumber than a box of rocks? Oh, Jesus. The mother of the suspect in John Benet Ramsey's murder trial tried to kill him when he was only a baby, a family friend told ABC News. And I see that I didn't... by the way, thanks very much to whoever sent me that information about, because I'm not 100% computer literate like I should be, about how to print out the stories without losing the right margin there on the landscape instead of portrait thing. Because I've done many of the stories that way, including the Robert Fisk one today, so I could read the story. This one I forgot to do that. Oh. It really frost my eyes. Well, Internet Explorer is the Antichrist.
Yes, it is.
And I go on Firefox, and I have the option of portrait or landscape. And if you go on the landscape thing, on the Lansky one. What? Here we go again. Let's start with Meyer Lansky again, just because I saw that thing on Biography for crying out loud.
On the streets of heavily Jewish Miami Beach, Lansky became an elder statesman, a living legend.
The most pious Jews in the world in Miami Beach, who are the holiest people to whom God is everything. Even God wasn't close to Meyer Lansky. As soon as they saw Meyer Lansky, forget about God. This was God. They used to worship him, follow him, look at him. If he walked down the street, they would talk about how slow he walked, how fast. Did he have a dog, a cow, a horse? Did he sit down, get up, what time?
One time we're in this little deli down in Miami Beach, and these two young boys came up with yarmulkes on, and they were kind of looking at my grandpa, and I was kind of standing in the background, and they came up and said, "Mr. Lansky, we'd like to get your autograph." And he kind of looks at him seriously, and oh, my grandpa, he goes, "What did I do, an Academy Award?" And I said, well, we figured it'd be worth some money someday, Mr. Lansky. And he said, no, son, I don't sign autographs.
I don't sign autographs. Now, wasn't there one of his, kids or grandkids or somebody got shot in the Forge 20 years ago?
In the Forge head?
Forge, in the Forge restaurant on the beach.
Know.
You know, the place where they have those potatoes that they heat up in the microwave at 600 degrees. Anyway, John Carr's mother, Patricia Elaine Adcock, I wonder if she's kin to Joe Adcock, who used to play for the Braves first base and was later a manager, made a big round donut of kindling and put him in the middle of it, said George McCrary, 76, who said he's known Carr's father, Wexford Carr, for 40 years. She made a big round donut of kindling and stuck him in the middle. Oh, we could play Burning, what's that Elvis song, Burning Love?
Sure.
You got it? I got it here somewhere.
Coming right up.
She just boxed the little baby in and tried to light it. She boxed him in like in a harness racing, man. She boxed him on the inside and wouldn't let him out. I bet you Dick McCumber remembers those days. There you go. It was a burning love, man. She had a burning love for John Mark Carr. Oh, and I did such a good talk up there, too, in your chopper. What a jackass, man. Shoot him, Josh. Let's shoot him.
Still counts.
Jackass. No, but they didn't hear it. They don't know. They're not the experts like we are. Forget about it. Elvis is still dead, by the way. He had 2-and-alls and, what was the other thing in his system?
3-and-alls.
4-and-alls. That's what, earlier when you were out of the room, and I said, and Josh said that you were taking a Quattro.
See.
Adcock was later committed to I don't want to see it, to a mental institution. Uh-oh. His mother was committed to a mental institution. Be very wary of people whose mothers were committed to a mental institution. You know what I'm saying?
What if their mothers should have
She died in 2000, according to an obituary in the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette. Attempts by ABC News to reach immediate members of the Carr family were unsuccessful. Let me say it again. Unsuccessful. McCrary told ABC News he was speaking independently. While he's been a close friend and confidant of Wexford Carr for 4 decades, McCrary said he hasn't spoken to him since news broke last week of John's apparent confession, yada, yada. I'm doing this because I love John, and I love the family. I want people to know that while he certainly has some serious problems, John is a good human being. Remember the human beings and Nobody But Me?
Coming right up.
And I love him, and I'll stand by him, McCrary said. In fact, they've used that record on more TV spots probably than any other song, Nobody But Me. There it is. You know it. Capitol Records, baby, a medley of their smash. Nobody, let me say it again, nobody but me. In a series of exclusive, let's see, from the time his mother tried to kill him, he's been out and out paranoid that somebody is going to try to kill him or take advantage of him. In a series of exclusive interviews over 2 days, McCrary painted an enigmatic portrait of a brilliant and amiable but troubled young man whose romantic relationships and fixations were explosive. Well, his first wife was, 5 days old when he married her?
Yeah.
Yeah. She said, yeah, but who's going to feed us?
She was an
aborted
aborted
look at that. That's bad. 2 explosions rocked a bomb recycling plant in Louisiana, in Doyline, Louisiana.
Yeah, a bomb recycling plant?
Accounted for. So as far as we know...
Well, you know what bombs do, don't you? They explode. You know what these did?
They exploded?
Yeah.
Highways near Camp Minden, that's Interstate 20, US 80,
Doyline.
Louisiana 164
That's right up the river from
are now
Doyline.
blocked. We'll keep our eye on this situation for you and keep you updated.
Isn't that what Reverend Kennedy's got up there at Coral Ridge, the Goy Line? Anyway, only one more, and I'm going to move on. I don't want to spend like hours and hours on this, because if you want to hear all the crap. Oh, look at that. Dutch prosecutor is going to release those 12 men. They were just checking out who had the best cell phone, that's all. Who had the best headgear and who had the best cell phone. You see that special they had the other night about the Indian guys that leave Canada and they go to India to marry these rich, to get the dowry. They marry these rich families, and then they dump the broad and they come back here without her.
What a good
with the
plan,
money.
yeah.
That's a good scam. And of course, we know about the Indian women. If their family is poor and can't afford a big dowry, bada bing, that's it.
I thought you set fire to the bitch instead.
You surround them with kindling, and you create a burning love. Now let's see. The Indians, they're sick. That's why some of them smell like that curry powder. Sikh and Hindu and some Muslim, of course. Of course, they got 1 billion people there now, right?
I guess. I haven't counted lately.
Oh, you better start doing your India homework, man. There's some really hot Indian people, I'm telling you right now.
Are there?
There are. Well, that's that curry powder, man. It makes your skin just boil. You get a burning love. You don't know. Now, how many Indians have you got? So I'm talking about not American Indians. I'm talking about Indians.
About 30, man.
In Florida.
Yeah,
Here we got.
I must know all of them.
Oh, we got all kinds of Indians here. Indians, Pakis, all kinds of turban heads, towel heads, rag heads, schmata heads. Quintana Ray was just 12 years old when she met John Mark Carr. Now, you've seen that blonde chick. You've seen her on all over the tube.
Oh, yeah. What a
she doesn't
breed.
say much. The 41-year-old, within a year against her parents' wishes, she and Carr, then 19, were married. He was 19, she was 12. Well, actually, when they got married, she was 13 already. So what are you getting all upset about? Right?
Right.
Today she talked about her ex-husband in an exclusive interview on Good Morning America. This is yesterday. Ray said she met Carr at a party in Hamilton, Alabama. See, that's where he was with his daycare center. And he proceeded to seduce her. His parents, Melissa and Larry Schatz, said they were opposed to the marriage. I wonder if he's related to Dr. Fred Schatz. Or maybe just Whiskey Schatz. The couple had a lengthy battle with Ray's parents over the relationship. According to Ray's parents, Carr became more defensive and threatening as they continued to oppose the couple's plans. And Ray said Carr became a different person after they were married. I believed he loved me, she said. He loved me. But her marriage to Carr lasted less than a year. Oh, that's kind of like the what's it called? The broad out there at the 7-Eleven. The Runaway Bride.
Oh,
I love you. Remember that?
I love you.
Yeah, that's it. But her marriage to Carr lasted less than a year. That year, according to Ray, was a tumultuous one. I was drugged and things were done to me without me having any idea, said Ray, who's now married with a 4-year-old child. Oh, fixed the sterilization, man. I'm telling you, that's the only hope for the human race. Starting in trailer parks. In 1985, after 9 months of marriage, Ray filed for an annulment, complaining in court that court records she was fearful for her life and safety. She's kind of cute, actually. Do you see her?
Yeah, not bad.
She's all right.
I'll rape her.
In response filed with what wouldn't be the first time for either one of you. In response filed with the court, Carr contested Ray's age, saying she was in fact 14. A judge later granted the annulment. Carr later married a second time to Laura Carr, who was 16 when their twin daughters died the day they were born, September 1st, 89. And let me say it again. None of these stories, I heard it in one place only, that they talked about the fact that he delivered them at home, the twin daughters.
Okay.
And their last words were,
I'm dying over here.
Probably in a slightly higher register. Maybe that was Barbara Starr or Hank who just said that. You know, that's really something.
I'm dying over here.
Remember how many years ago that guy did die? One of our callers from IOD, and then somebody called in to report that he died. Don't be saying stuff like that, because then you wind up dying. Ray also told Good Morning America that Carr frequently talked about young girls. He had fantasies about little girls he would talk to me about. Carr awaits extradition from California to Colorado to face first-degree murder charge and kidnapping charges for the Ramsey slaying. In addition to the first-degree murder, the counts against Carr in a sealed probable cause arrest warrant include felony murder, first-degree kidnapping, second-degree kidnapping, sexual assault on a child, and having a pear-shaped ass. How do you like that? I know the last part's true.
This is Neil Rogers. This is 560 QAM.
Fans, it's the 2006 QAM Mercedes-Benz Grand Slam Inning Contest. If a Marlins player hits a Grand Slam in the 5th inning, you could win a 2-year lease of a Mercedes-Benz C230. For more information and to enter, log on to WQAM.com today. The 2006 Mercedes-Benz Grand Slam Inning Contest from Sports Radio 560 QAM.
If there's a butt, I smell it.
Shh. Did you guys hear that?
Boa constrictors, cobras and asps. They never had tickets for business class. Python row 1, a rattler and 2. I'd like to complain, but they've bitten the crew. It's the worst flight I ever had. An anaconda is hugging my dad. Sam Jackson, what can you do? I'd like to complain, but they've eaten the crew.
Enough is enough.
Snakes on a plane.
I've had it with snakes.
Should have taken the train. Snakes on a plane.
By the way, I think I made a mistake the other day. 1240 WGVA Geneva, New York. I think I said 1270 because we got 1200.
Don't do it again.
Huh? WGVA Geneva, New York, 1240 on the AM dial. I wonder if it's still on the air. It must be. I just Googled it. 119 at QAM. Now, let's see. They're showing about how Apple is recalling 8 trillion to computers here because the batteries are defective and they're going to blow up in your face.
It does not use these batteries and does not anticipate any recall of its own. But as far as Sony's own laptops are concerned, the company has not announced a recall of that product, at least not yet. But
well, thank God for that. Apple says Sony lithium-ion batteries could catch fire.
Oh, my God.
They could become...
Flaming.
I like this thing here. You know what else I like? I like the fact that I didn't take any... I never even came close to thinking about taking a call today. I shut the monitor off before we started. And you know what else I'm thinking? Because I've been doing this all summer long. Once I come back on full time on Monday, 9/11...
Mm-hmm. Coincidence?
Monday, 9/11...
Right.
I don't know if I'm going to take any more calls.
Oh, no. That would be tragic
That means,
somehow.
you know, when I take a day off or I'm on vacation, that'll be the opportunity for all of those people who are just...
I have no life.
Share with you. All the stuff. And then we'll probably get a lot more faxes that way, too. In fact, I just heard, do you hear that beep?
Right. I just sent you
That's
something.
my machine, my good fax machine, at least one of them. I was going to have a spare, and that's whatever the hell you just sent me there. Or else maybe it's an ad fax, which it damn well better not be. Read over and see what it is. Oh, it says something you sent me. I told you. Thought this was a good time to check in due to today's poll topic. Just moved to Greensboro, North Carolina. Oh, I'm so sorry. And have been an 18-year listener to your show. Thanks, God. Who is this from? Does it have a name on it? Doesn't have a name on it. Oh, Christiana. First thing I did last Tuesday was tune in via the internet. Sounds great. Oh, thanks God for that. I'll try to convert some of the hillbillies into Neelys if they have the internets. P.S. Sorry I got George in trouble a few years ago when I faxed the bald picture of Mo. Oh, no. Thank you for the bald picture of Mo. And by the way, no more Mo, no more Crow, and no more Joe Rose, Joe, and who else? But instead we got Bo and Kenny and Bo. See, Kenny, you've got to change his name. Maybe we could put Joe Bell on here with the Bo. Joe and Bo. You like that? In fact, didn't we once have a show called The Joe and Bo Show?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, we did.
560 WQAM presents The Joe and Bo Show.
But they didn't get along, so I guess that's not a good idea. So thanks a lot, Christina or Christiana Amanpour. And CNN, by the way, is in the hysteria business, the fear-mongering business. They had a 2-hour special last night instead of your buddy. Something about Osama, your mama, and then after that they finished another hour of terror and fear, and they're going to come in. The boogeyman's going to get you. Look under the bed before you go to sleep tonight. Stuff like that. So I would certainly disagree with Noam Chomsky, as brilliant as he is about that one point, because the kids asked him about, how does the government control the media, and he said that they don't. Oh, surprise! Of course, that was in March of 2002. I guess we've all learned a lot since then. He's intimidating. You know what I mean? But he's not like who was the jackass that was on that PBS series Outer Space? What the hell was his name? Carl Sagan.
Oh.
Who spoke like he hadn't had a good... Yeah, he spoke like he hadn't had a good BM in like 50 years, Right. Like Richard Quest.
Well, he's dead now, so...
Oh, Richard Quest? Oh, we can only pray. Oh, please, call me in the middle of the night if you find out. Whenever it happens. I want to be the first to know when old Donkey Puss croaks. Richard Quest. Anyway, like I started to say, I do like this story. For this year's crop of college freshmen, Starbucks has always been around the corner, America's Funniest Home Videos has always been on TV, and men named George Bush have been president for more than half their lives. Born in 1987, the freshmen attending their first college lectures around the country this term grew up with pay-per-view TV and voicemail on their phones, dirty dancing at school proms, and the U.S. is the only superpower. Oh, no, we got some other butchers out there. Of course, they're all like satellites of the U.S., like Israel and Turkey, and like Saddam used to be. Puppets of the U.S., butchers, slaughterers. Those are some of the cultural landmarks on the Beloit College Mindset list, not what I just said, but what I read before. An annual compilation that offers a glimpse of the worldview of each incoming class. Rhymes with ass. We can say ass. I think you ought to remind me. In fact, that one bit we just played about ass on a plane. Ass. Okay, get your ass on a plane and have a good flight. The list was released yesterday by the private school, Beloit College in Beloit, Wisconsin, a school of 1,200 in the southern Wisconsin city. The class of 2009 has never known Andy Warhol, seen Jimmy Swaggart preach on TV, or watched Arsenio Hall. Oh, that's how lucky they are. Jimmy Carter, that's just another name people throw around, said Abby Angabos, 18, who was going through orientation Tuesday on the school's 40-acre campus. Technologically savvy, the students grew up with home computers, digital cameras. I'm going to have to get mine. I'm going to have to start using mine. Send you some pictures.
Please.
And souped-up car stereos. Cable TV has always been powerful and has blurred the lines between news and entertainment. Did you see that show that GM is bringing the Camaro back? Did you see that?
No.
The new muscle cars, man. The new Camaro is coming back. It looks really good, huh?
Let's hope it looks good, because, they don't always.
It does look good. It looks.
Okay.
I've seen it.
Okay.
Not like a real one, but I've seen it on TV. Like most of the men in his class, Joe Ehrenbrack, 18, of Pella, Iowa, admitted he didn't know how to tie a tie. He doesn't even own one. Oh, and you know who they took? Uh-oh.
Look out! Look out!
I called Geico expecting to get a recording, but someone was there to help me.
Help me! Somebody help me!
Geico got my claim in the works right away, and I was actually able to enjoy my Thanksgiving.
Mashed potatoes, gravy, and cranberry sauce.
Little Richard, man,
That's
he'd
great.
be the best.
How old is he, 100?
Oh, he's 200, easy. Now, what the hell was I just saying? Something very important before I interrupted with that spot. The list reminds older generations. Oh, I was going to say about Tucker Carlson, now, who's just Tucker, no more Carlson, just Tucker on MSNBC. And no more Bowtie, either. And he's still a jackass, and he still sucks. And his show is still a bomb, not the bomb, but a bomb, and it's going to be off soon. What are you thinking, Dan Abrams, you idiot, you lunatic? I think Dan Abrams must be on the payroll at CNN. The list reminds older generations what's happened in the last 18 years and aims to educate professors about the lives of their young students, said Tom McBride, a humanities professor at Beloit, who's compiled the list for 7 years. It reminds them that if they're going to teach Watergate, they have to explain what it is first, he said. That's right. How many people out there do you think know who Chuck Colson is, or John Dean, or John Ehrlichman? Ehrlichman, Mitchell, Haldeman, and Dean, huh? I wish I still had that record somewhere. There's a song called Haldeman, Ehrlichman, Mitchell, and Dean. It was great. Anyway, Ron Neef, the school's director of public affairs who helps edit the list, said it has practical uses. Branches of the armed forces and churches have used it in training young officers and ministers. It is a window into their lives, Neef said, emphasizing that the list is not meant to be a chronology of events. Lizzie Starr of Wellesley, Mass. said one listing really hit home for her, that Boston has been working on the Big Dig Road construction project her entire life. The 18-year-old said she used to take the bus to the airport to avoid driving through the city. Ever been to Logan Airport? It's a dump.
Okay.
As for Starbucks, they've been there as long as I can remember. Where the hell's the next page? As long as I can remember, said Leah Knoll, 17, of St. Paul, Minnesota, who drank her first Frappuccino in the 7th grade. You think I'm going to croak before I get my first Frappuccino? I don't think they got them with, like, diet. You know, I can't have the sugar.
They do.
They do?
Yes, that's what I have.
They have low-carb Frappuccino. Get out of here. In Starbucks?
I'm telling you. They have
I'm getting me one today. Are you lying? I'm dying.
Wait a minute.
You're lying.
It's sugar-free. That doesn't mean that there might not be something else in there, so check.
Like,
ask.
Check your ass before
you know, there's
go
lots of ingredients in there, like, I don't know, like whipped cream. Does that have sugar in it?
Of course.
Well, it has whipped cream.
Yeah, so then what's the point of having, like, low-cal?
Don't order it with whipped cream.
You know what that's like? No sugar-added ice cream. Have you ever seen that in the supermarket? No sugar added? And then you look on the list, carbohydrates, 744,000 grams, you know. I mean, what's the point? Who are you kidding, man? Instead of worrying about stuff like that, go to Stogie's and put a big fat one in your puss. Stogie's continues to be South Florida's top cigar shop with one of the broadest, the biggest, and most unmatchable inventories, containing an outstanding, unmatchable selection of the top. They got over 1,000 open boxes of great cigars, like Perdomo, Ashton VSG, Arturo Fuente, Padron, Monte Cristo, Romeo and Julieta, and lots more. Like it used to say in the old copy, Julienta. All you yentas out there, get a Romeo and Julieta. And not only they got the top names, but they've also got special hard-to-find stogies and obscure cigars that you just won't find in every 7-Eleven. Buy your premium cigars for the price of seconds and stay a while. Enjoy a smooth smoke at Stogie's Wine Lounge featuring Pierre Andre, 100% Pinot Noir, and lots of other fine wines from around the world. Try the wine. Stogie's you'll find at 11612 North Kendall Drive, just a half-mile east of exit 20 off the Turnpike. Open every day, 7 days a week for your smoking and dining pleasure. Call today to reserve your favorite cigars at Stogie's, 305-598-9820. I think that thing about restaurants with cigar bar, I think that thing is a passé, right?
I don't know.
It was very popular for a short time, like that restaurant.
I think there's some still around.
Geldy did the spots for, and then they went out of business because people couldn't stand Geldy's voice. That one. Stogie's, call 305-598-9820. When you stop into the shop, be sure and say hi to Mario and the girls, Sandra and Heather. They'll give you a free one and a free cigar, too. That's Stogie's at 11612 North Kendall Drive in Kendall.
This is Neil Rogers. This is 560 QAM.
Floridians, dumb as dirt.
Back in the day when someone done us wrong, we didn't take their crap. In Pearl Harbor, when the Japs dropped their bombs, we bombed them back. And now the Saudis, they hit us hard, and on our cars our little flags wave, as that Saudi-loving retard points the bombers the wrong way. And I'm embarrassed to be an American, where they follow Bush like sheep. The United States of arrogance, led by Bush and his family, greed they got this country. Ambling towards the darkest days in our history. I don't want to be a Pax American in the USA. What's a few thousand innocent lives? Stop living in the past. If you want that SUV to drive, you're gonna need more gas. It's the greatest country in the world. They train us to believe And anyone who says that, obviously, can't afford to leave.
Absolutely.
And I'm embarrassed to be an American where we patriotically wave a flag in one hand with our head in the sand and blindly follow the powers that be. Apathetic. Watching state run news on a 65-inch screen. Scratcher fine, everything's okay in the USA.
1,293 people have checked in on today's pool. We're going to make that 1,300 if it's the last damn thing we do. If Curtis has to wait till 2:45 for us to get done. But he won't. Where are you usually when you listen to the Neil Rogers Show, on the radio or on the internet? Of course, on the radio we don't really care that much, right?
Right.
Broward 386, Dade 299. So not that much of a difference, right? And that goes to show you there's at least 299 people in Dade County who speak English or Yiddish. Has Josh still got a Kopeitik?
No, 2.
Palm Beach 178. That's pretty heavy duty. They must be all in Boca, wouldn't you think?
I would
West
imagine.
Palm, Boynton Beach,
Sure.
Delray Beach,
Lake Worth.
Oh, God. Florida outside of Dade, Broward, and Palm Beach, 155. USA outside of Florida, 138. Aren't they lucky? I don't listen 44. I'm in outer space, 40. We got 40 space cadets. I wonder if they're on Pluto, or maybe they're on Uranus. I hate this pool, 15. Canada, 10. Europe, 6. Who was saying that to me the other day about, those Canadian, oh, I know that. Somebody that was a good friend of yours who was up here recently. He said, I don't see them saying that A thing. Yeah, of course, no. How's it going, A? They all say that. Europe, 6. Africa, 5. Mexico, 5. Central America, 4. Australia, 2. Down under. Middle East, 2. Asia, 2. New Zealand and South America each have 1. How do you like that, New Zealand? We got somebody in New Zealand, man.
All right. How's it going?
Is that exciting or what? 1298, that's really great. Next time I refresh it, I bet it's 1300. I refreshed it, and it's 1302. Isn't that good?
That's excellent.
Josh is pretty proud of that, and if he wouldn't have been trying to say Kopeitik for 4 hours, we'd probably have 1400.
My bad.
Now, getting back to Beloit College and the survey that they did about these kids, these college students. See, that's what happens when you get old. You know a lot of stuff. Most of it's useless and worthless, and you wish you were 20 again, but nevertheless, you can't have everything, right? So at least you know a lot of crap. According to the Beloit College Mindset List for college freshmen born in 1987, see, I can't even believe that there is anybody born in 1987. Of course, for John Mark Carr, that's too old. Liberace, Jackie Gleason, and Lee Marvin have always been dead. And away they go. Heart-lung transplants have always been possible. Wayne Gretzky, old needle nose, never played for Edmonton. Iran and Iraq have never been at war with each other. They're more familiar with Greg Gumbel than with Brian Gumbel. Well, big deal. Voicemail has always been available. Whatever is not part of a question. Isn't that cute? Whatever.
That's excellent.
They have always had the right to burn the flag. You see that story about the teacher?
Yeah, I saw it.
I didn't even want to talk about it.
I know. What's the
Make
point?
a big simus out of this. He's trying to make a point about free speech to his students, and he burned a flag in a wastebasket in the classroom, and right away, bada beep, bada boy, screw all you crazy people, okay? Idiots. Piece of cloth. How about a doily? See, a doily you can't burn because it makes for good headgear. If you don't want to wear a yarmulke or any kind of another skull cap, put a doily on your head.
Sure, nice lacy one.
Yeah. All you parents out there that want to make subject your kids to ridicule and make them look like idiots, put a doily on their head and send them out to school.
Stealing off Grandma's couch.
Yeah. They've always had the right to burn the flag. Bill Gates has always been worth at least $1 billion. Oh, I'll never get to it, though, about Bill Gates. Another one of those stories. Remember the other one I had before about Bill Gates and Warren Buffett?
Right.
It's on our website by Sheldon Drobny, commondreams.org. I'll never get to it today. Remind me on Tuesday. Maybe I'll keep it in my pile. It's worth talking about again. Not what it seems to be. Nothing like good tax breaks, you know? The Starship Enterprise has always looked dated. Les Miserables has always been on stage. Or is that Les Miserables? When I was a kid, I used to call it that, Les Miserables. Victor, Hugo, boy. Snowboarding has always been popular winter pastime. They don't remember a kinder and gentler nation. Well, that's for damn sure. They never. And was that the same George Bush that bombed Nicaragua like to pieces and killed all those people?
That's the one.
Oh, Bush won.
1,000 points of
They
blight.
never saw 1,000 points of blight. Of course, he's good buddies with the Saudis, man. Like that article I read by Noam Chomsky said, the Saudis are the exception because they're our buddies, man. They're okay. They're the good ragheads. They never saw the shuttle Challenger fly. Black Americans have always been known as African Americans. Not in my lifetime. They were known as other things. Tom Landry never coached the Cowboys. And probably Roger Staubach and Danny White never quarterbacked the Cowboys either, I'm sure. I bet you Josh don't remember Roger Staubach.
Is that like some kind of a joke, or?
Good Navy guy. Well, what do you mean it's some kind of a joke? You weren't born when he was playing for the Cowboys. You've heard of him.
No, but, you know.
What about Danny White?
No, I don't know Danny White.
Get out of here. He followed Roger Staubach.
Don't know Danny
I
White.
thought
Well,
you were
Roger Staubach was great, you know.
Danny White was
Danny White.
fine, man, and he could play, too. The Field of Dreams has always been drawing people to Iowa. They never saw Howard Johnson's with 28 ice cream flavors, and Lyme disease has always been a concern in the woods.
Huh?
Yeah, that last one kind of leaves me...
Speechless?
For college freshmen born in 87, Lyme disease always been... I see. So in other words, no, that's true, man. I mean, Ewell Gibbons, when he was eating all them trees, all that bark, when he was barking up the wrong tree, he wasn't worried about Lyme disease. I mean, Bud Foster was worried about Lyme time, but certainly not about Lyme disease. When the hell are they going to get those slots going? How come I had the Fred Grimm story. How long ago was that? That was days ago, right?
Mm-hmm.
See, if we still had the crossover with the Humper, we could discuss that with him. Of course, he's not on in the morning anymore. Like that setup call we had on Tuesday. What happened to the crossover with Hank? Hank don't do mornings anymore, okay? Starting next Monday, he's going to be back to 4 to 7 in the afternoon, including the most expensive hour in South Florida talk radio, 4 to 5 cross-dressed with Mad Dog. How do you like that?
All right.
Yeah. Now, we got big billboards up all around town. Where's the QM promotion, baby? Let's put the promotion in the basket before they put us in the basket. Joyce. If this place was more, if they put our best feet forward and, like, you know what I'm saying? Instead of always, oh, you can't do that. Remember the Dovells and you can't sit down?
Coming right up. I
How
don't
about
think I have the Dovell.
Phil Upchurch, though? I like that one better than the Dovell. That was the original Phil Upchurch combo. In fact, when you go into Wendy's, ask for the Phil Upchurch combo. They'll throw your ass out. 1318 on the survey, including 3. Oh, you really believe that? That's the Dovells, though, isn't it?
All right, well, who's this?
Ooh, that ain't either one of them.
No, it ain't.
It's Otis Redding.
No.
Chuck Berry. Sounds like Chuck Berry's guitar to me. Doesn't that sound like Chuck Berry's guitar?
It does, but they all did.
Oh.
Here, I'll give you another hint. By the same group.
Lee Dorsey.
The Electrodes.
Oh, I'm supposed to know that?
Yeah, you're supposed to know that.
Get out of here. Are you a crazy person or what?
This is Neil Rogers.
Whatever.
This is 560 Rock Solid. CD Chopper. The OCD crew is up against another tight deadline.
Things were going really slowly on the National Institute of Mental Health bike. Seemed like everything was going wrong.
Oh, hey, Paulie, you got a little oil on the rocker cover there.
Oh, Vinny, no.
It's okay. I'll just wipe it up. Hey, where are you going?
I gotta go wash my hands. 1, 2, 3. And Pop wasn't helping things either.
I gotta make sure the gas tank fits on the frame.
You already checked it.
Well, I'm gonna check it again.
But you already checked it.
But I gotta check it again.
But you already checked it.
Hey, Paulie. Now, why don't you go wash your hands and leave me alone?
They're not dirty. Oh, no. 1.
When it comes to building custom bikes and every single other thing you can imagine, the Tuttles are obsessed. American OCD Chopper.
147. Speaking of ersatz, you know, this Katrina survivor from Louisiana that they've been parading around, this Rocky Vaccarella, praising Bush and the wonderful job he did, and went and had dinner with Bush and met him in the White House, and then had this insipid interview with Rick Sanchez. I just sent it for our website for tomorrow. Total ersatz, total phony. He's a Republican candidate, a Bush supporter, and the whole thing is all BS.
I see.
Just another photo op, just another lie,
Great.
but then what's one more? Speaking of liars and BS artists, Drew Lieberman, who's seeking to return to the U.S. Senate as an independent after losing his bid for renomination by the Democratic Party in Connecticut, is campaigning today with 2 Republicans in Connecticut. Do you hear what I just said?
Campaigning with 2 Republicans in Connecticut?
A message was posted last night at the blog of Democratic challenger Ned Lamont, indicating that Lieberman is campaigning today with Republican Governor Jody Rell and Republican Congressman Rob Simmons, both of whom are up for re-election. Coverage by the Associated Press refers to the event as a strategy session to keep the military base in Groton, off the list of military facilities facing closure. Well, at least that's a little more honest anyway. What a piece of turd that is, man. And the new poll, by the way, showed Lamont only 2 points behind Lieberman in the latest poll that just came out in the 3-way race.
You go, Ned.
And the Republican candidate, this guy who's... the
card counter?
Yeah, the card counter. That guy, the gambler. Oh, guess what movie was on last night? This had nothing to do with my decision not to go to Woodbine anymore, but it had to do with just enjoying the movie because it was a Toronto movie.
Oh, that gambling movie with what's his name?
With Philip Seymour Hoffman.
Right. Good movie.
What is that called? Yeah, exactly. It was on again last night.
I'll go find it.
It's still good. Anyway, I got some anti-Walmart crap here that you'll love.
Good.
Dave Zweifel in the Madison Capital Times in Wisconsin says, I figured something was up with Andrew Young, the former UN ambassador and mayor of Atlanta, when he came to Chicago a few weeks ago to fight the city council's plan to require big box stores like Walmart to pay workers a minimum of $10 an hour by the year 2010. Council members didn't think the city should subsidize them, as so often happens somewhere because of inadequate health insurance and other benefits. Mayor Richard Daley, however, is expected to veto the ordinance any day now anyway. So how come a guy with Young's credentials is on the other side? I have to admit I missed the announcement, but sometime last year, Andrew Young became the chairman of an organization called Working Families for Walmart, from which he resigned the other day, by the way. The group was created and financed by the Arkansas-based John when it decided to take a more proactive role in trumpeting its own story, taking on its long list of detractors. And what better figurehead than a man with Andrew Young's credentials? Well, the one-time civil rights icon has now stepped down from his new role. He just went a tad overboard for the world's largest retailer when in an interview with the L.A. newspaper he declared that ethnic moms and pops have been ripping off poor folks for generations. You see, those are the people who have been overcharging us, he said of the small store owners, and they sold out and moved to Florida. I think they ripped us off. Andy Young is a genuine civil rights hero, going all the way back to the founding of the movement in the late 50s, early 60s. He was a favorite of the Reverend Martin Luther King Jr. and was with him the day he was assassinated in Memphis. He became a champion of working people during his 2 terms in Congress from Georgia and then as mayor of Atlanta. So it was strange, it seemed to me, that Young, now 74, would turn up proclaiming it would be unfair for a city to require Walmart to pay $10 an hour wages and at least $3 an hour in benefits like health care at the stores it plans to build in some of Chicago's low-income neighborhoods. Young declared that such a city ordinance would chase Walmart out of town, hence jobs would be lost for some of those low-income folks in those neighborhoods. A large majority of the council wound up disagreeing, thinking that a $10 an hour salary for some 4 years from now is the least to expect from a corporate giant. Besides, while the city wants the companies, what is it? There's a word missing here. First it was Jews, then it was Koreans, and now it's Arabs is what he said. Ripping off the dark folks. That's what Andy Young said. First the Jews, then the Koreans, now the Arabs. A Walmart store in the hood, apparently, would solve the problem with these greedy little guys. The interview naturally caused a huge outcry, and embarrassed Young quickly quit the Walmart gig, and to his credit, issued an apology. That's against everything I ever thought in my life, he said. It never should have been said. And then it says, that's what happens when good people sell their souls. And if you want to be happy for the rest of your life, make an ugly woman your wife. That's what Jimmy Soul said. Is that what he said, Jimmy Soul? Who that was? Jimmy Soul.
I'll let you know in a minute.
Now, who did that? If you want to be happy... Now, Herman McCain, a member of the Walmart advocacy group Working Families for Walmart, is under fire for a column that compares prominent Democrats to Hezbollah guerrillas. In fact, John Kerry ripped him an ass. Is that Jimmy Soul?
Jimmy Soul.
Cain, an African-American businessman and radio show host, yesterday posted a comment to the opinion website townhall.com in which he tagged potential 2008 Democratic presidential candidates, including Hillary Clinton and Joe Biden, as Hezbollah-crats determined to take down Walmart. Cain used the expression Hezbollah-crats a dozen times throughout the column. And like I said, John Kerry ripped him an ass. A union-supported activist group, Wake Up Walmart, called on Walmart in a press release today to denounce Cain and in its association with a cadre of right-wing operatives it currently employs under the made-up name of Working Families for Walmart. Working Families for Walmart, my ass. 153 at 560 WQM. Going back to school can be a little rough on the kids, and a good night's sleep is critical for the development of a healthy mind. If your kids are having trouble adjusting to school night bedtime, maybe it's their mattress. Get them a really good mattress they can sleep into all kinds of fun stuff on. Call Dial a Mattress toll-free at 1-800-MATTRESS. They can recommend a mattress for kids of any age. Have a new bed delivered the date and time to choose any day of the week, 7 days a week from 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. You pick the 2-hour window, and they'll be there on time 99.99% of the time. They can even deliver your mattress the same day that you call. That's why they're rated #1 in the world in customer satisfaction. I've been using them for years. Call 1-800-MATTRESS right now. Get the absolute best selection of Sealy, Serta, Simmons, King Coil, Tempur-Pedic, Stearns & Foster, all at unbeatable prices. In fact, check for low prices online at mattress.com or call Dial a Mattress toll-free right now, 1-800-MATTRESS. They'll be knocking on your door before you can say, uh-oh, Geldy's on again. 1-800-MATTRES. Leave off the last S because it stands for squeaky.
This is Neil Rogers. This is 560 QAM.
It's Dave in Miami town at 560 WQAM.
all on steroids. Yes. It makes them big and sweaty. I know I speak on behalf of all sport holes by saying the sweatier, the better. Well, yeah, sure, there's death and carnage in the Middle East. And I'm a Jew, but who cares? It's not a sports-related matter, right, Clarence? And this, being the 5th anniversary of 9/11, I'm proud to say that I was right here on the air, keeping all of you updated on the hurricane. And besides all that, what's happening with Barry Bonds is a shame. Even worse than what happened to Ward Bonds, or Gary in the U.S. Bonds. Yeah, you know, James Bonds. Well, then his face can use some Bond, though. How's come the women call this show? Huh? I'm married, you know. Despite my love-hate relationship with Mo. Poor Mo. At least he ain't got no hungry mouths to feed. Good thing his family ain't got nothing to do with him. With you? Well, I don't blame his wife for leaving. I would leave him, too. And you know, and another thing...
All right, knock it off, Buster.
Get out of here.
Never mind that. I don't like nobody making fun of my family, see?
Oh, yeah? How do you keep all those people out of the zoo?
Who are you? And another thing. Oh, no. It's happening again.
What?
Every time I get excited, it's like the Hulk, you know.
What is it?
It's Mr. Pillow Pants. Ow! I hate you, Mr. Pillow Pants.
You better get out of here.
I know. Now he's stopped now. It's time for me to walk away slowly. And very sadly. Very sad.
Bye, bye, bye!